What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 16 Shish. Chapter 391 Hawkins takes over Wano Kuni. Immediately, I felt the breath of death. Kaido can be regarded as a relatively quick response. Just as Hawkins attacked, Kaido Conqueror's Haki fended off part of the attack. Kaido then dodged the fatal blow. Hawkins saw that Kaido was not resolved. He also quickly came to Luffy's side. The two sides faced off. Now Kaido has lost the most important combat power, Kaido. But on Luffy's side, Luffy, Luo, Usopp are still at their peak. So it was decided to launch a general attack on the Kaido family. Under the leadership of Luffy, the battle strength of the Kaido family is constantly weakening. The casualties are also increasing. Seeing that the situation was not good, Kaido hurriedly used his last strength to transform into Jackie Chan. Flee to the distance. Originally, Luo wanted to continue chasing Kaido. But I was afraid that Kaido was cheating, and the speed couldn't keep up. So I chose 223, and gave up. With Kaido's escape, the Kaido family was instantly headless. Quickly collapsed. Back toward Wano Kuni. Hawkins was also frightened when he saw Kaido run away. Once again decided to maintain an alliance with the Luffy family. Fight against Kaido together. Luffy also agreed, because Hawkins is also very strong. There are only benefits to having such an alliance. After discussing with Hawkins, Luffy decided. Let Hawkins go back to Wano Kuni and try to take over Wano Kuni. Because the current Kaido must not dare to go back to Wano Kuni. He was still afraid that Luffy would kill them all. Kaido is in such a bad state now. Can only seek help from others. Next time Kaido's revenge will definitely be stronger. Prepare now for later. Now Luffy and Hawkins himself Doflamingo are allies. Although I don't know if Doflamingo will help me. But Hawkins is still relatively reliable. Doflamingo is Kaido's partner for many years. That is, the exchange of interests. Now that Kaido can't help Doflamingo anymore. In theory Doflamingo should not be helping Kaido. But this one is not certain. Hawkins' betrayal by Kaido was seen by everyone. At this time, if Hawkins is allowed to return to Wano Kuni alone. Still very dangerous. They also understand this Luffy. So I decided to let Roger Usopp go back with Hawkins. Having Luo by his side can at least keep Usopp safe. Hawkins got help from Luffy. Also hurry back to Wano Kuni. Want to take advantage of the chaos to solve the current trouble. When Hawkins and the others return to Wano Kuni. Sure enough, the current Kaido family is in chaos. Due to Kaido's escape, no one in the current family can carry the burden of the family. Because Kaido had absolute dominion when he was there. Although Kaido has many admiral under his command. But compared to the top power, they are still not enough to see. Except for a few of Kaido's hardcore men who went out to find Kaido. None of the others that remained were Hawkins' opponents. After Hawkins returned to Wano Kuni, the people of the Kaido family seemed to be eating it. After all, no one likes traitors. Hawkins was helpless, because if it wasn't for fear of death. Nor will he join Kaido's family. Now Kaido is seriously injured and his life is unknown. This is the best time for him. Looking at the former comrades in front of me. Kaido has no hesitation. Just come up and do it. Subdue them with mighty force. After all, Kaido treated them the same way. Due to the departure of the high level, the existence of the family that can resist Hawkins is basically gone. So Hawkins quickly cleaned up the mess. Luo Usopp has no chance to shoot at all. I saw Hawkins punch a small thing. Directly singled out the entire family. Luo and Usopp also looked surprised. After all, he was a former comrade in arms. It's too heavy. But they didn't say anything. After all, it was their business. At any time, Hawkins gradually won the important members of the family. At this time, the Kaido family was officially won by Hawkins. Now it can be called the Hawkins family. Hawkins completely took over the family by force. After solving the matter here, Luo and Usopp also hurried back to Luffy's side. The battle was resolved one-on-one. Luffy didn't take any damage at all. It's just that Zoro's body is a little worrying. Zoro dragged his severely injured body into battle, and now the injury is even more serious. Although Zoro has always been the little powerhouse of immune to death. But it is also very worrying to be injured so badly. The only thing that makes me happy is, now things have been settled on Doflamingo's side. The problem with Kaido's manufacturing plant is basically no problem. The main thing is to prevent Kaido's retaliation. Hawkins is now busy dealing with the Wano Kuni mess. Basically, don't worry too much. We'll have to wait for Hawkins to deal with it before we can discuss the next step. Luffy is now in some kind of joint relationship with Doflamingo and Hawkins. Although this relationship is very unreliable. But after all, it is not a state of hostility on the surface. Otherwise, while preventing Kaido's revenge. On the other hand, be wary of the two of them. That's the big trouble. After Luffy and the others returned to the family, they also discussed their next plan. The other side. After Kaido was seriously injured, he escaped to where the ant was. Both of them are one of the four emperors. Kaido also has a different feeling for Ant. Choosing to come here is also the most helpless choice. Kaido didn't want Ant to see him so embarrassed. But there is no way. Ant saw Kaido who was so seriously injured. Also full of surprise. He is the most aware of Kaido's strength. The person who can beat Kaido like this is definitely not an ordinary strong man. Kaido, who came to Big Mom's place, couldn't hold it anymore. Then he fell to the ground. The ant hurriedly ordered someone to take Kaido down to heal 1.3. Luffy is not idle here. After Lu Chen's injury was relieved. Quickly grab the training of family buddies. First is Luffy. Last time Luffy opened the second gear under the guidance of Lu Chen. In the battle with Kaido, he broke through himself and opened the third gear. But this state is not stable. But now he can open the third gear. Under Lu Chen, he couldn't hold on for even a minute. You only need to be able to last 3 minutes under my attack. 99. He thought so in his heart. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Chen didn't hesitate to start the second gear. So Lu Chen wanted to stabilize Luffy's state as soon as possible and improve his strength. There must be a fight. Luffy has been cast out of the shadows in the last battle, chapter 392 Lu Chen's devil training. As soon as the words fell, Lu Chen didn't hesitate, and directly opened the second gear. A simple and rigid straight punch came to Luffy in an instant. With a bang sound, Luffy flew several hundred meters backwards. As this the beginning, Luffy rubbed his big face that was about to deform from being beaten. You're a sneak attack, Lu Chen. Luffy sensed that Lu Chen had fully entered the fighting state. It also did not dare to neglect, and also opened the second gear mode. Rubber, using the pillars around the site. Luffy quickly bullied himself into the spear gun. Had to admit, Luffy's attack speed is fast. His feet were pointing straight at Lu Chen like sharp knives. But Lu Chen's reaction speed was faster. Flame array. In an instant, a flame barrier appeared in front of Lu Chen. Because the Uchiha Obito character template, held by Lu Chen is the strongest form of theory. This flame barrier is extremely strong in terms of sturdiness and damage. For Luffy, heat is his biggest nemesis. So the rubber spear gun was cancelled in time. Changed drop position with rubber arms in midair. Relying on the strong physical fitness brought by the second gear. In an instant, O2 came behind Lu Chen. Rubber hammer. The rolled up hands quickly grabbed Lu Chen. Immediately jump up and smash Lu Chen to the ground. However, Lu Chen suddenly appeared at Luffy's feet. Fire-style burst flurry. The powerful storm and the huge fire snake that followed. Luffy was knocked out before he could make any evasive moves. From the beginning of the battle to the present, only 1 minute has passed. Lu Chen, you are such a monster. Luffy crawled out of the smashed pit. Does this work as well? It turned out that when Luffy used a rubber hammer, after grabbing Lu Chen teleported directly in the air using Kamui space. And immediately launched a counterattack against Luffy. If I could have your strength, I must be able to become the Pirate King soon. Quote. Lu Chen smiled slightly, his optimistic attitude towards Luffy. And the pursuit of great strength is very praised. Come again. 99. Luffy adjusted his breathing a little and turned on second gear again. For him, if he wanted to hold on for these 3 minutes in an ordinary state, it was as hard as the sky. Although the second gear consumes a lot of physical strength and vitality. But it's perfectly fine to stick to 1 minute at a time. This time, Lu Chen did not let Luffy initiate the first move. Instead, throw a great fireball technique directly at Luffy. In fact, Lu Chen is still a bit tied up in this battle. He wanted Luffy to turn on gear 3 again during the fight. And free to control, but ideas are just ideas after all. Luffy has been using the second gear to resist Lu Chen's attack. There has been no way to use the state of third gear. Seeing this, Lu Chen also understood. Only when Luffy is threatened with his life or is extremely angry can he do that. Then Lu Chen's attack became more and more fierce. You're still not moving fast enough, Luffy. Wood-style cutting technique. Lu Chen quickly approached Luffy and used this move when he was close to Luffy. I saw countless branches seem to have life. Crazy out of Luffy's body. It's like going through Luffy. This time, Lu Chen didn't keep his hands like the last time. Really attacking Luffy with full force in second gear. Hope to inspire his potential. Facts have proved that Lu Chen's decision is correct. Luffy was taken aback by Lu Chen's increasing attack. He didn't expect Lu Chen to be so pervert and actually play the real game. Luffy instantly turned on the third gear when he felt his life was threatened. For a time, the branches of the whole body came with this powerful force. After Luffy successfully turned on the third gear, he didn't give up on Lu Chen. Directly a rubber machine gun kept attacking Lu Chen. Now Lu Chen is only in the second gear state. It is indeed a little difficult to face Luffy in third gear. Without noticing, Luffy punched him hard in the face. In an instant, Lu Chen became the figure with a swollen face and a fat man. At this time, Luffy had also walked for 3 minutes under Lu Chen. Lu Chen looked at the proud Luffy. Looking at his swollen face again, he felt that his temper was rising. Come on, let's do another round. 99. Looking at Lu Chen's angry look. Luffy is also a little cowardly. No, don't be rude. 3 minutes later, you can't do this. 5. In this way, there is no room for Lu Chen's invitation again. Lu Chen saw that Luffy was not fooled. What should I do if I am angry? I also directly pointed the finger at Usopp. Then it was Usopp's turn to stand trial. In the face of Usopp Lu Chen, he directly opened the third gear state. Lu Chen in the third gear plus armament hockey added. Instantly put a lot of pressure on Usopp. Usopp didn't understand that Chen would do this. As if there was some serious illness. It is also armament haki who was added to the second gear state. Facing the angry Chen, although Usopp tried his best to resist. But still failed to defend against Chen's attack. Chen also doesn't have too many moves. One punch, two punches, punches directly. Playing Usopp is hard to say. Usopp conceded in an instant. Only 6 seconds passed. 223 after Usopp learned why Chen was so angry. He also looked directly at Luffy. In an instant, I realized that I was just an out-of-breath sandbag. Luffy is embarrassed. Fortunately it's not me, this Chen is so pervert. After Chen was cool, he also calmed down. Usopp, who seemed to be frightened, felt a little embarrassed for a moment. Then turned to stare at Luffy. As if to say that you will look good in the next battle. Usopp hurriedly escaped this land of right and wrong. Leaving Luffy and Chen staring at each other. Aunt Kaido also woke up after treatment. What's the matter? Who hurt you like this? Big Mom said to Kaido. At the same time, the ant is also worthless for Kaido. It's not easy to hurt Kaido like this in a fair game. Kaido's body was just right, and when he heard Ant's analysis, he was instantly furious. Kaido told the story exactly what happened. Ant thinks Chen is a very scary opponent. Gotta kill this B************* D Hawkins. It's embarrassing to say something like this. After all, being betrayed by his own men and being attacked by surprise. After all, there are not many existences that can play against Kaido like this. Chapter 393 Empress Boa Hancock. Gotta kill this B********* D Hawkins. Although Kaido wakes up now, but his body is still not fully recovered. After contacting my aunt, I decided to continue my training. After the body is completely healed, I will gather my strength and go back to do some Hawkins. The matter on Luffy's side has basically been resolved. So I'm getting ready for my next trip. It's impossible to wait here forever for Kaido's revenge. Zoro's state has also partially recovered. The following plan is to continuously strengthen our own strength. Then face the strongest organism, 4 Emperors Kaido head on. But what they don't know is that Kaido has come to Big Mom's side. It is very possible to unite with the ant. Then launch a final attack on Luffy and Hawkins. Due to the war between Kaido and Luffy, Doflamingo never showed up to help Kaido. Kaido's trust in Doflamingo is also dropping sharply. But what Kaido doesn't know is, before destroying the manufacturing plant, Doflamingo was defeated by the Luffy Legion. Now Kaido and Doflamingo only see a misunderstanding. The two are unlikely to unite again. And Doflamingo has also entered into some kind of alliance with Luffy. The best way for him now is to not help either side. Whoever wins in the end will choose to stand in the team. In the end, Chen and Luffy discussed whether to continue sailing. Improve the combat strength of Luffy Corps. This will completely solve Kaido's troubles. Luffy, Usopp, Zoro, Chen, Nami and Chopper embark on a new journey again. Luo stayed behind to look after the Luffy family's stronghold. With the departure of Luffy and others on the forward Mary. It also marks a new challenge for Luffy and the others. Luffy and the others sailed to the Lily Kingdom. Because Chen can also train Luffy, Zoro and others to open higher gears. But Haki's role is to find a dedicated person to learn. And the upgrade of gears is not overnight. Excessive development of high gear can also cause serious harm to the body. Now the most obvious way to improve your strength is to learn the use of Haki. It happens that Rayleigh of Lily Kingdom is a very good teacher for learning Haki. So Luffy and the others, according to Chen's instructions, decided to go to the Lily Kingdom to improve strength. After a boring voyage for a while, at noon, after 15 days, finally came to Lily Kingdom. The Lily Kingdom is the Empress Boya, the informed kingdom of Hancock. Boya, Hancock is the only woman in the 7 warlords of the sea. He is the supreme leader of the fighting nation, Hydra, who lives in the Amazon. Has always been called female emperor. The queen has a super high face value. With long black hair and a princess cut hairstyle. Dark blue eyes, with a pair of snake earrings. Tall and slender, with the brand name, Flying Dragon's Hoof, on the back. Considered to be the world's #1 peerless beauty. Luffy wants Rayleigh's help. It is necessary to go through the introduction of the Empress, so finding the Empress first is the current goal. Luffy and the others soon found out that the Empress was in Amazon. Lily. Then their group started to go to Amazon. Lily to find the queen. After coming to Amazon, Lily, they didn't go to the Empress for the first time. Instead, choose to look around. By the way, let's know what kind of person Boya Hancock is. In the process of inquiring again, Luffy they still cause trouble. I don't know why I offended Amazon. The women of Lily. Then Luffy was chased by them frantically. Luffy is chased by the women of the Amazon Lily. Finally rescued by Margaret, just when Margaret wanted to let Luffy go. Luffy finds he has no boat to find a partner. On the other hand, world government sent Marine Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel to lead a marine force to Amazon Lily to wait for the arrival of Empress Boa Hancock. Their purpose is to make her accept the call of the world government. Luffy thinks this is a good opportunity to get close to the Empress, Boa Hancock. So say goodbye to Gretel and return to Amazon, Lily. In the process, although blocked by Amazon Lily women, Luffy kept dashing in, not hurting them in the process. With the appearance of Empress Boa Hancock, The Marine of the world government also appeared beside the Empress. Want him to accept the call of world government. Directly the Empress met their Marine's senior commander. After a while, the two walked out in a rage. It seems that the conditions have not been negotiated. As he spoke, the World Marine suddenly attacked the Empress Boa Hancock. HMPH, since you don't accept the call of the world government, then perish. Seeing the command of Marine Commander, the Marines launched an attack one after another. Empress Boa Hancock is not a simple character. Backquote. Marrow marrow mellow. The Empress uses the fruit ability of the sweet fruit. The heart-shaped light emitted by the hands in the gesture of love. Those who are attracted to the beautiful of the Empress will instantly become petrified when struck by the light. Not valid for people who don't have a color heart. Not effective for people who are not paying attention to themselves. Empress Boa Hancock has a peerless face. Using this move, Marine on the opposite side turned into stone in an instant. The flying squirrel Vice Admiral stabs himself with a knife. Only by forcibly diverting his attention with the pain of his palm can he avoid petrification. The Queen's attack also completely angered the flying squirrel Vice Admiral. Ordered Marine to kill the Empress at all costs. First saw Marine attacking at the same time, and the Empress kept resisting. At this time, Luffy hurriedly shot, armament hockey, in second gear. Subdued the flying squirrel Vice Admiral in an instant. Threats Marine with the name of the flying squirrel in his hand all right to retreat. In the end Marine accepted the threat. Then they retreated in large numbers by boat. It wasn't until Marine was completely evacuated that Luffy put the flying squirrel Vice Admiral back. The flying squirrel Vice Admiral is the person of the world government after all. Killing him could get into a lot of trouble. Empress Boa Hancock saw Luffy's sudden call. I was also a little confused for a while. I don't know where this kid came from. Judging from Luffy's shot, the Queen also concluded that Luffy is a strong man. Luffy helped the Empress Boa Hancock this time, and also gained part of the Empress' favor. Then Luffy was invited to the kingdom as a guest. Luffy did not agree for a while. Because he only reacted at this time, he and Chen got separated. At first, I only cared to avoid the pursuit. Forgot to meet them. Luffy told the Empress to go to find a partner first, and then come back. Chapter 394 Fighting with all-out efforts. Rubber vs Snake. Luffy told the Empress to find a partner first, and then come back. After Luffy said goodbye to Boa Hancock, he began to look around for Chen and their location. In the process of searching, he learned that Nami was caught by the three snake-haired sisters. Then I can't wait to rescue Nami. After Luffy learns the location of the three snake-hair sisters. Hurried over there, after discovering that Nami was not harmed. The hanging heart gradually let go. Who Luffy is, the last thing he can't accept is that others bully his friends. Directly open the second gear state to fight the three sisters of snake hair. Luffy uses the rubber machine gun directly. In an instant, countless fists attacked thinking of the three sisters. The three sisters also have rich combat experience. The three resisted Luffy's attack at the same time. At the same time, he continued to attack Luffy. Luffy was somewhat struggling to face the attack of the three of them. Can't get rid of it completely for a while. Luffy's purpose is to save Nami back. I didn't even think about a life and death confrontation with the three snake-haired sisters. Because the three snake-haired sisters are the subordinates of the Empress Boa Hancock after all. If there are casualties, it will inevitably be blamed. The three sisters' fierce attack startled Luffy. Originally Luffy thought that with his rubber body he should be able to resist. But it turns out that Luffy's injuries are still serious. 223 Luffy feels the pressure. While Luffy was preparing armament hockey's whole body. Inadvertently used Conqueror's Haki. Everyone should be familiar with this kind of Haki. The boost that Kaido's Conqueror's Haki gives him is completely incomparable to armament Haki. It can be said that Conqueror's Haki is the king of armament Haki. Luffy's inadvertent use of Conqueror's Haki also surprised the three snake-haired sisters. I didn't expect Luffy to have such strength. Luffy's battle, surrounded by the hot Haki, has also been greatly improved. In the face of the attacks of the three sisters, he also began to do his best. But since I can't control Conqueror's Haki very well. Cause your own attack and defense to be strong and weak. The three snake-haired sisters also saw the embarrassing situation of Luffy. Attacks are more mundane and more powerful. In the end, Luffy was still hit by the three sisters with snake hair and flew out. Luffy is also a little anxious at this time. I clearly let them go. They don't know how to step back. I saw that Luffy opened the third gear. Under the training of Chen, Luffy can now ACBD control his third gear freely. However, because the third gear form consumes too much for oneself. Under normal circumstances, Luffy's main fighting form is still second gear. Luffy in third gear, attack power and defense power are greatly improved. Rubber pistol, rubber machine gun. Luffy uses his rubber fruit skills. His hands were like a gust of wind, and he quickly thought about the three sisters attacking. At the same time, the feet are not idle. I saw one leg stretched continuously and kicked one of the three sisters with one kick. Luffy's attack became stronger, and the three sisters didn't dare to be careless anymore. They have turned into giant snakes. Luffy has a quick eye and a quick hand. Holding the big mouth of the giant snake with both hands, and then constantly charging up. Then the three sisters were thrown dozens of meters away. By the way, I took the opportunity to save Nami back. Luffy asked Nami to hide, and then went on to fight the three sisters himself. The three snake-haired sisters are not weak. I was also very upset about being attacked this time. What followed was a frantic attack by the three of them. Snake tail, entanglement, head attack. Various attack methods are attacking Luffy one after another. Luffy desperately resists, although the defense is greatly enhanced in the third gear state. But still can't protect himself. The main reason is that the attack power of the three sisters has been greatly enhanced after the incarnation of the snake form. Luffy was constantly attacked by the three sisters. After a while, he was seriously injured and vomited blood. Luffy hurriedly used the situation. Rubber round. Came behind the three sisters in an instant. Rubber hammer. Rolling up his hands and grabbing one of the three sisters. Smashed hard to the ground. This attack is to attack as defense. Not only did he evade the attacks of the three sisters. Also take out one of the enemies. Seeing my sister hurt. The remaining two looked angry, and then the two used it together. Medusa's gaze. Luffy felt like he was going to petrify for a moment. No, I'm not rubber, how can it be petrified? This feeling lasted for a while before disappearing. It's also thanks to Luffy's rubber body. Otherwise, someone else might be petrified by this attack. Although Luffy was not petrified. But the flexibility of the body is also affected. Use the rubber machine gun, again. The attack speed has become noticeably slower. The remaining two sisters easily avoided. Luffy keeps moving his body. Want to quickly restore the state. Because in this state it is easy to be injured by the two sisters. The two sisters were surprised to see that Luffy was not petrified. I haven't failed this skill yet. How could it not work this time? It was only after I understood Luffy's body structure that I suddenly realized. The two sisters stood side by side, and at the same time swung their tails at Luffy. Luffy was attacked on both sides at the same time. In an instant, it was crushed into pieces of paper by the two big tails. A special rubber fruit saved his life. Luffy is really angry. The flexibility of the body is almost restored after this attack. Rubber pistol, rubber machine gun, rubber cannonball. Luffy used 3 skills in a row. When the two sisters directly resisted the rubber machine gun. 2 artillery shells fell from the sky and blew the 2 men out. Luffy took advantage of the gap and ran off with Nami. Knowing Chen's location from Nami's mouth. Then rushed back to join them as soon as possible. Although Luffy was not seriously injured in this battle. But it is still very difficult. Not being able to exert one's true strength is suffocating. After joining with Chen, Zoro, Usopp and others. Luffy told about his experience. Several people decided to go to the Empress Boa Hancock after a few days of training. Hope to get help from the Queen. These are the subordinates of the Empress Boa Hancock. At the same time, we must first reconcile with the women of Amazon. Lily. Chen et al. Did not stop either. Luffy decided to talk to the 3 snake-haired sisters. Especially the 3 sisters with snake hair. After 2 days of training. Luffy went around Kabuto and finally found the 3 sisters with snake hair. If the relationship is too strained, it is not good for your plan. Chapter 395 Participate in Rayleigh's training. Luffy went around Kabuto and finally found the 3 snake hair sisters. After the 3 snake-haired sisters saw Luffy. Instantly angry. Luffy bullied the 3 sisters like this. Dare to come to them. So before Luffy could speak, the 3 snake-haired sisters ordered the guards of Daughter Island to hunt down Luffy. At this moment, Luffy had 100 grass and mud horses running in his heart. But now I can only keep running away. Can't make trouble again. I thought I'd talk about it when they got tired of chasing. Let's go. The other side. When the Empress Boa Hancock returned to the Palace of the 9 Snakes. Seeing Aniceto making the children in her image. The human-shaped figurines were brought into the palace. Destroy the statue immediately. And when Gloriosa persuaded her to join the Marine Recruitment Order. On the grounds that, even if the country is destroyed, it will be forgiven by everyone, because the concubine's body is as beautiful as a fairy. Throw the ladder directly out the window. After Boa Hancock prepares to take a bath. The guards set up their guards. But Monkey D. Luffy, who was chased by Daughter Island guards, accidentally fell into Hancock's bath. And see the pattern on Hancock's back. So Hancock was very angry. Use Mero Mellow. But it doesn't work because Luffy is a rubber man and a completely useless color center. She was very surprised why Luffy didn't petrify. Why wasn't Luffy not interested in her naked body? Luffy looked for an exit to escape. But he was quickly caught by guards. Boa Hancock prepares to execute Luffy. Margaret, Alflandra, and Stoby pled for Luffy to be petrified by her. Boya Sandersonia and Boya Marigold prepare to kill Luffy at the execution ground. But Sandersonia is ready to smash Margaret. Luffy angrily resorted to Conqueror's Hockey. Among them, Hancock's sister, Boya Sandersonia, hangs on the edge of the duel after her defeat. Due to the flames on his younger sister Boya Marigold during the battle. The danger of her clothes being burned almost showed a mark. Luffy climbed onto her back at this moment, covering the mark with the body. This move completely changed Hancock and the people of 9 Snakes for Luffy. Ask Luffy whether to restore Margaret and the others or leave by himself. Luffy did not hesitate to let them recover. So Hancock decided to tell Luffy about her past. Boa Hancock called Luffy to her place. Learned from Gloriosa that Luffy beat celestial dragons. So Hancock told Luffy everything about his past. And said that she liked Luffy and decided to help Luffy. After Luffy got the affirmation of Empress Boa Hancock. Very happy. Then tell the Queen Boa Hancock that he is going to call all his friends over. Then ask the Queen for help. After Luffy said goodbye to Hancock. Non-stop back to Chen and the others. Then I told them that I had been affirmed by the Empress. Then he took them to the residence of the Empress. After Chen and the others met the Empress, they all showed surprised expressions. They didn't expect Empress Boa Hancock to be so beautiful. I was dumbfounded for a while. That's why Luffy is relatively calm. His goal has always been to become the Pirate King. Quote. So there is no special feeling for women. Chen and others felt that Luffy had a problem with his brain. After a period of conversation, Empress Boa Hancock also understood their purpose. Said it could help them recommend. But I need Luffy to stay by my side for 3 months. Chen, Usopp, and Zoro all widened their eyes, expressed in disbelief. Did the Empress really like this idiot? Luffy himself is a nerd. So I didn't understand what the Empress Boa Hancock meant. Then Chen and the others helped Luffy agree to this condition. After the introduction of Empress Boa Hancock, Rayleigh happily agreed to help Luffy in their armament hockey. After staying with the Empress for 3 days, Luffy and the others followed Rayleigh to an island next to the Lily Kingdom. On this island, only Rayleigh, Luffy, Usopp, Zoro, Nami, Chopper, Chen and others. No one else has the right to go to this island. This is the training ground specially provided for them by Empress Boa Hancock. Except for Chen who does not participate in training, everyone else needs to participate. Unlike Chen's training method, Rayleigh's training is relatively soft. 0. Ask for flowers. Mainly through theoretical teaching and simple battles to improve their own level. And the object of comparison is not Rayleigh, but the teammates around him. The most interesting of these is the battle between Luffy and Usopp. We all know that the last time Usopp was abused by Chen was because of Luffy. This time Usopp decides to get revenge on Luffy. Rayleigh stipulates that both sides are not allowed to open gears and use skills when fighting. The physical confrontation must be performed under the condition that only armament hockey is used. It is reasonable to say that Usopp's normal battle must not be Luffy's opponent. Especially now that Luffy has mastered the third gear battle mode. So this fight was seen by Usopp as an opportunity for revenge. I saw Usopp smiling. Armament hockey wraps around the body. Luffy didn't hesitate here either. He knew what Usopp was thinking this time. So I want to use this opportunity to educate him severely. What Usopp doesn't know yet is that Luffy's previous fights accidentally opened Conqueror's Haki. If Usopp had known, he wouldn't have had that confidence. Usopp took the lead in launching the attack. The golden fist gathers powerful energy. This punch was somewhat resentful. Seeing this, Luffy didn't choose to confront him. Straight up his body, and Usopp punches Luffy in the stomach. As if absorbed, Luffy uses his rubber fruit ability. 40 or 2,000 pounds. Easily diffused Usopp's attack. Usopp couldn't make a hit and thought about attacking again. Unexpectedly, Luffy suddenly pulled away. In an instant, Usopp can't touch himself. Then take advantage of your body's ability to lengthen. Constantly punching in the distance. Punch after punch on Usopp's body. Originally Usopp felt that his armament hockey had to be stronger than Luffy. But only after Luffy's attack did I know. Luffy's armament hockey is also very strong. Usopp did not lose faith. Thinking of the way Rayleigh told himself to raise armament hockey. Comprehended over and over again in constant defense and attack. In the end, it broke through its own threshold and improved its attack and defense plan to a certain extent. Chapter 396 Usopp, it turns out that the clown is me. In the end, he broke through his own threshold, and improved his attack and defense to a certain extent. Looking at the improved Usopp on the other side, Luffy was happy for him too. Suddenly saw Usopp getting very close to him while he was giggling. I shouted in my heart. No, you Brad doesn't teach martial arts. I saw Usopp punch Luffy in the face. Luffy instantly felt a burning pain on his face. If it wasn't for Luffy's body being rubber, it would probably be swollen by now. After all, it was the strongest attack since Usopp broke through. When Luffy saw the proud Usopp, there was no trace of anger for a while. Maybe he also felt that he was also responsible for being bullied by Usopp last time. Seeing this, Usopp wanted to punch again. At this time, Luffy was not used to him. One punch is to make up for your last. 2, 3. If I come again, I'll be angry. Usopp said, FK, what can you do to Lousy? Lousy will beat you. It was these words that made Luffy completely angry. I saw Luffy armament hockey's constant consolidation, as if there was a feeling of breaking through. Usopp touched his face when he saw this. Then feel like you might be in for crazy revenge. Fortunately, Luffy was not able to break through. Still at the same level, Luffy also felt a little weird. Because after all, I have accidentally used Conqueror's Haki here. Why can't it be used now? Usopp Tsunere looked at Luffy. I thought I was going to be beaten, but I didn't expect, hehe. Looking at Usopp's cheap appearance, Luffy is really angry, and he was unhappy if he didn't break through. The sight of Usopp's death made him even more angry. But I can't help it, I'm sure I won't be able to fight against Usopp now. So for the time being, I still use my physical advantages to constantly avoid Usopp's attacks. During this period, he also sneakily attacked Usopp. But because of Usopp's simple breakthrough, his own attack can't do much damage to him. This gave Luffy a headache. Rayleigh watched them fight. Also see Luffy's problem. Rayleigh also had a brief understanding of them before their training. Also know that Luffy once opened Conqueror's Haki. So I think Luffy is still very talented. But Luffy used Conqueror's Haki twice in times of crisis. This also shows that Luffy has a lot of potential, but can't control it. As the battle progresses, Rayleigh also started coaching Luffy off the court. After repeated failures, Luffy finally understood the truth. Watching Usopp, who must beat himself into a pig's head with a frantic attack. I thought to myself, wait, boy, wait until I can become the master of Conqueror's Haki, I will look good with you. 99. While Luffy was still thinking, Usopp punched Luffy in the face again. During this time Usopp forgets about Luffy's face attack whenever he gets a chance. Luffy was slapped in the face more than once or twice. If it weren't for his thick skin, he would definitely be like a pig's head now. Looking at Usopp attacking again, Luffy stretched out his hands and grabbed his body. Tossed him hard. At this time, Luffy is also undergoing different changes. I saw the armament Haki around Luffy gradually dissipating. In its place are wisps of Conqueror's Haki. Usopp, who saw this scene, was like seeing a ghost. In my heart, I realized, it turns out that the clown is actually me. 99. He knew that Luffy would be the first to kill himself after he was promoted. Luffy looked at Usopp like he ate a dead rat. But the heart is happy. Usopp, my face is pretty cool. Hearing this, Usopp instantly froze. Brother, I'm just kidding, isn't it to stimulate your potential? Do you think you can't break through? You have to thank me, don't you? 99. Looking at Luffy, who was smiling but not smiling, Usopp suddenly felt that his whole body was not well. Luffy doesn't have so much nonsense. Get started directly, with the blessing of Conqueror's Haki. Luffy's attack and defense have been greatly improved. After a period of adaptation, it can be completely controlled. It's just that Conqueror's Haki is not solid enough, and it is still far from Kaido. But against Usopp that was quite enough. Usopp watched Luffy's attack. Hurry up and do your best to defend. Still, Usopp was beaten to death by Luffy. In the end, he had to beg for mercy to escape the catastrophe. Big brother, I was really wrong, can I stop fighting? 39. Usopp hesitantly said the words of begging for mercy. I can't blame him for that, the one who was beaten really couldn't speak clearly. In the end, Luffy was still very loyal and did not continue to attack Usopp. Looking at Usopp like a pig's head, Nami, Chopper, they're all laughing like crazy. For a moment, Usopp could not wait to find a crack in the ground to dig into. Finally, he shouted helplessly. God, why is it always me who is unlucky, so I'm the clown? This sentence made Zoro on the side laugh. Usopp also has doubts in his heart. Why Luffy can open Conqueror's Haki without warning? It's not scientific at all. Then I thought of Rayleigh communicating with Luffy when he was playing against Luffy. For a split second it felt like Rayleigh was giving Luffy a smaller class. Looking at Rayleigh resentfully, it also made Rayleigh a little embarrassed. Then tell them. In fact, Luffy opened Conqueror's Haki in the previous battle. Just can't control it, he just taught Luffy how to control. There are no small classes. Hearing this, Usopp's eyes widened instantly. You knew he was able to start Conqueror's Haki and he made me go up and get beaten up. At this moment Usopp felt like he was about to cry. 1.3. Rayleigh also smiled awkwardly. Usopp shouted out his classic quote again. It turns out that the clown is actually me. After Chen came to Luffy and learned that Luffy could master Conqueror's Haki. Also surprised, although I know that Luffy's talent is very strong. But so much can be improved in such a short period of time. Still quite amazing. Consider Kaido as one of the 4 emperors. As the top fighting force of the continent, it is only Conqueror's Haki. To achieve this at Luffy's age, should be very rare. Zoro is more miserable here. Because Zoro usually uses 2 swords to attack. Only the flesh can be used at Rayleigh's request. And the one who was fighting against him turned out to be Rayleigh. Chapter 397. The sad Zoro has a huge harvest. And the one who was fighting against him was Rayleigh. Rayleigh is their trainer. Has 3 abilities. Conqueror's Haki, Armament Haki, and Observation Haki. At this time, Zoro has no experience in boxing and fighting, not to mention. And also Armament Haki is not very strong. Why Zoro versus Rayleigh? Because Usopp fought Luffy, Nami and Chopper don't have much fighting power. So the instructor had to go out and train Zoro himself. Zoro was a little surprised after knowing that he was fighting against Rayleigh. But not afraid, because Zoro's philosophy is, as a martial artist, you can only progress by fighting against the strong. Rayleigh did not bully him during the battle, also just used Armament Haki and Zoro to fight. Zoro was also surprised when he saw Armament Haki so solid. Looking back at myself surrounded by poor Haki. Immediately, he felt his own inadequacy. Zoro took the initiative to attack. Gather all your strength on your fists. It's like putting Haki on the edge of the knife before. Rayleigh felt a bit interesting seeing Zoro's attack. Although many people can rule O2 Haki on their fists. But Zoro's approach is significantly stronger. Rayleigh wants to feel the power of this attack. So there is no counterattack. Raise your own defense status to the highest level. Then abruptly resisted an attack. Although on the surface Rayleigh only took a few steps backwards. But only Rayleigh himself knew. His punch was so powerful that his arms were shaking. Zoro saw that Rayleigh blocked his attack so easily. I feel the difference is really big. So this time Zoro charged and attacked. Looking at such a posture, Rayleigh did not dare to resist for a while. Hurry up to attack and defend. Use his rich combat experience to dodge this attack. I saw Rayleigh clenched his fists. Violently attacked Zoro. Zoro subconsciously blocked with both hands. I thought the two knives in my hand were still there. But Rayleigh's attack isn't vegan either. Zoro blocked with both hands, but since he didn't improve his defense. I was beaten back and forth again and again for a while. At the same time, his hands were numb, and there was also a sharp pain in his chest. This attack by Rayleigh gave Zoro a great shock. Is this the true power of armament hockey? Zoro used to think that as long as his swordsmanship was good enough to make up for these. That's why I didn't pay attention to armament hockey's training. After today's battle with Rayleigh, he learned how important it was. If you can have such a solid armament hockey, then condense hockey on the knife. There are bound to be unexpected results. After these two fights with Zoro, Rayleigh also learned that Zoro's strengths and weaknesses. So the fight didn't go on. After the battle is over, Rayleigh came to Zoro. Tell Zoro armament hockey and the importance of various hockey. Said and released his own conqueror's hockey. Zoro felt a powerful pressure in an instant. This kind of coercion can make weak people lose their ability to resist instantly. That's the scary thing about hockey. Zoro through this battle needn't say more to Rayleigh. Also clearly know the importance of hockey. Then Rayleigh pointed out Zoro's shortcomings. And how Zoro can quickly improve hockey's method. All told to him. It also affirms the unique way Zoro hockey attacks. Zoro, as suggested by Rayleigh, also began to pay attention to the promotion of hockey. So for about 3 months, several of them are constantly improving themselves on this small island. It was finally time to leave. This is that several of them have been greatly improved. Especially Luffy, his own perception is very good. After 3 months of training, already able to control Conqueror's hockey very well. Although not so solid, that is the overall strength has been greatly improved. Zoro also raised armament hockey a notch after 3 months of training. Now Zoro faces Kaido again. The damage of that knife may be more than just a scar. Usopp is worse, since the last promotion. Every time I play against Luffy there is always psychological pressure. Cause oneself to stay in that state all the time. In the end, it was Rayleigh who helped Usopp unravel the knot. The strength has only been slightly improved. But overall, the main combat power has been improved this time. Nami and Chopper are not the main fighting force in the first place. Therefore, the improvement of strength is not so important. Empress Boa Hancock heard that after their training was over. Also on the shore waiting for their return. After seeing Luffy and the others, they hurriedly invited them to dinner. Then they came to the residence of the Empress Boa Hancock. The Empress thanked Rayleigh, also concerned about their training results. Especially Luffy's. Happy to learn that Luffy has become Master Conqueror's hockey. After the meal, Empress Boa Hancock left them there for a few days. After a few days, just when Chen and his party were about to leave, female 223 Emperor Boa Hancock began to remind them if they had forgotten something. Only then did Chen react. They've sold Luffy to the Empress for 3 months. Chen also smiled awkwardly when he heard the words. Then pulled Luffy aside. I said before going to the training, after the training is completed, you need to be by the Empress's side for 3 months. Luffy looked helpless, but there was nothing he could do. What will happen to the family if I stay? Kaido won't attack at this time. Chen can't guarantee this either. Can only guess. If Kaido attacks, you must gather a certain amount of power. A few months will definitely not work, and it will take a year before that. Finally, after two people's discussion, or the family side is important and needs fighting power. So it was decided that Luffy would stay alone for 3 months and then go back. Chen took the rest back to the family. To prevent any mishaps in the family. I just fell in love with an idiot like you. Looking at the confused Luffy. Who made this Empress Boa Hancock look bad? Luffy whispered Chen. I thought to myself, I also want to stay. Why did he have to let me stay, and why didn't he keep you? Then he took Zoro and others by boat and left. Then he gave Luffy a blank look. Chen looked at him like a fool. Chapter 398 Boa Hancock's test against Luffy. Then he took Zoro and others by boat and left. With the departure of Zoro, Chen and others, Luffy also began to get along with the Empress Boa Hancock for 3 months. When Empress Boa Hancock first met Luffy, I was deeply attracted by Luffy. And after a few encounters he found Luffy very attractive. Especially when you see yourself in the bathroom. To remain calm. Very different from normal men. This makes the Empress Boa Hancock have different feelings for Luffy. Luffy also saw the 3 snake hair sisters at this time. As the saying goes, enemies are jealous when they meet. The 3 snake-haired sisters stared at Luffy viciously. But due to the Empress Boa Hancock's face, never had trouble with Luffy. And the Empress Boa Hancock also told them, Luffy helps her fend off Marine's business. For a while, the 3 sisters' anger at Luffy also reduced a lot. Luffy is a pure steel straight man. I don't know why Empress Boa Hancock wanted him to stay. Although the Empress also had a good impression of Luffy at this time. But not yet to the place of obsession. It's just that this man is slowly attracting himself. All Luffy is thinking now is to get out of here. Then go find your partner. Empress Boa Hancock naturally knew Luffy's thoughts. So decided to test Luffy. The Empress first ordered the big and small sisters to capture Luffy. Prepare to execute Luffy, after Luffy is subdued. His face was full of doubts, thinking about how this woman could change. After being crushed on the execution ground, he will be executed in public. At this time, Marineford couldn't bear Luffy to be executed like this. Without hesitation, he pleaded for Luffy. When the other two sisters saw this, they immediately knelt on the stage and pleaded for Luffy. At this time, the queen did not say anything. Instead, he ended up directly in front of the three of them. He said to forgive the three of them. Immediately afterwards, the three people were directly petrified. Empress Boa Hancock is not a soft-hearted person. Luffy, who could not be petrified, was arranged to be handed over to the Panthers. But how could Black Panther be Luffy's opponent? And I am still angry and feel how can I just petrify the three sisters who helped me? Panther was knocked out by Luffy with one punch. Defeating the Black Panther with one blow really stunned everyone on the field. However, the Queen's charm of turning all living things upside down still doesn't work for Luffy at all. So big and small sisters end at the same time. All incarnated as snakes. Watching this move is looking for quick results Luffy. The big and small sisters turned into big snakes and appeared at the same time. Fat sister snake fruit, king cobra form. Skinny sister snake fruit, python form. The body has become enormous. Luffy said to wait a moment. To put the petrified three sisters in a safe place. Without any worries, they began to fight the two snake girls. First of all, the fat sisters held the Xuanhua axe to catch the tiger in the wind. Luffy had to dodge flexibly. And Zhao Shenbi is good at venom attack. The saliva kept spitting at Luffy. And Luffy still wants to melee attack between dodging. Violently waved the rubber stamp. But it was shot out. At the same time, since you can feel pain. Under the constant attack of the fat sisters. Luffy even suspected that he was not a rubber. Immediately afterwards, he was entangled by the skinny sisters. The rubber physique that used to be unfavorable now does not work at all. Recalling that it was the same when I fought against Taomaru before. What the hell is going on here? The obvious big and small sisters have no interest in answering his question. And this skinny sister can predict Luffy's attack trajectory. The fast and flexible rubber machine gun was perfectly avoided. Facing the flank of two sisters. Luffy is really no match. Was beaten and fell into the sharp forest of the platform. Luckily, Luffy was able to catch his breath thanks to his long arms and splits. The queen looked like she was winning. And Luffy spoke directly to the Empress. To make Luffy feel hopeless and guilty. Destroy Marit's statue before Luffy's eyes. Just Luffy watching someone die because of him. This surprised Luffy. Just when the skinny sisters were about to smash Marit into pieces. What? As the real hockey suddenly exploded. The female fighters in the stands fainted. The big and small sisters and the queen are even more shocked. This is the Conqueror's hockey where only one person in millions can become master. Those who have this hockey. All have the qualifications of emperors standing above everyone, and are born kings. Although I know that Luffy accidentally opened Conqueror's hockey. But the Empress felt a little surprised when she saw it with her own eyes. The sudden unfolding of Conqueror's hockey surprised everyone. The skinny sister also let go of Marit unconsciously. Luffy was naturally overjoyed to see this. Put Marit in a safe place first. But the skinny sisters rushed forward regardless of the meaning. Luffy resisted the attack. Even if you are injured, you will never allow Marriott to be hurt. This kind of momentum really made the big sister and the queen sigh secretly. I placed everything according to Luffy's wishes. What is ushered in is the venom attack of the fat sisters. The poison formed made Luffy suffer a bit. Consciousness gradually blurred. But in the process of being hit, it was cleaned up. Luffy has a plan. Rubber balloons in a hurry. Blow out the poisonous mist on the field directly. Really big breath. Luffy directly opened the second gear. The next step is to fight with all our strength. Luffy's speed in second gear is a ghost. And the attack can actually be implemented. The sisters also knew that Luffy was no bluff either. All serious. The thin snake girl even turned into a long-haired snake and entered the form of an Orochi. Really terrifying. And the attack of the long-haired snake head is not weak. But I couldn't capture Luffy's figure at all. It was even thrown by Luffy with a throat lock and over the shoulder. The fat sister was surprised to see her sister being bullied like this. Alright, facing Luffy's rubber bazooka. I think I can bounce Luffy away like before. But I don't want Luffy's power in second gear to be so strong. He threw himself down directly. Sisters big and small no longer dare to underestimate the enemy. Go forward together and surround Luffy. The skinny sisters once again transformed into the form of Orochi. The fat sisters turned into flame zombies. All attacked Luffy. And Luffy faced the powerful attack of the two snake girls. Then the rubber machine gun hit a slam directly. After all, hair is a hair number. The skinny sisters who couldn't stand the flames unknowingly climbed the wall and went out. When you want to separate again. The flame directly burned the thin sister. But I found that the snake tail had been tied together at some point. Immediately afterwards, a blow to the abdomen of the two snake women. Under the strong attack of Luffy, they were all scattered. Below is a forest of swords. Fortunately, both hands quickly grabbed the city wall. To make the two snakes embrace, Chapter 399, Empress Hancock's Heart Knot. I still feel pity. Fortunately, both hands quickly grabbed the city wall. But the pattern on the back is about to be burnt out. That was the humiliation that the three empresses did not want to be seen. Luffy knew what he knew, and immediately threw himself on the burning back of the skinny sister. At this time, the fat sisters also gave up the attack. Because he knew Luffy was protecting them. The queen is also touched. Seeing Luffy desperately blocking the pattern. To block the shame that I don't want to be seen by others. The empress could not help covering her face and weeping, and ordered everyone to step back first. After the fighting field is empty, Luffy moved to Marit's statue again. Ask the empress to untie it. At this time, the queen threw out two choices. Is to unlock the petrification of the three, or find a boat to take Luffy out of here. And Luffy could only choose one. The empress was not nervous, sneered. Come on, show your true nature, a selfish man will definitely choose to live on his own. How could Luffy not hesitate? Kneeling down directly, thanking the empress, who was able to unlock the petrification of the three of them. The empress couldn't believe what she heard and saw. Is there really such a kind man in this world? A man with such a powerful haki? To be able to kneel down and bow his head in order to save his life. This also makes people secretly admire 223. The queen said nothing more. Directly unlocked the petrification of the three of Marit. Let them go, and called Luffy to the inside of Nine Snakes City. Luffy thought it was time for dinner after the battle. A little impatient, the eldest thanked Luffy on both sides of Luffy. It's alright, thanks can't be eaten as a meal, so let's have dinner quickly. At this time, the empress invited Luffy to enter. The naked empress. Luffy expressed disappointment. I thought it was a big meal. And the empress lifted her long hair. The previously unbearable kinds of things kept flashing in my mind. It is humiliation, it is a gift of evil, and the sun and horseshoe prints on the back are exposed. As soon as this seal appeared, it brought strong unease to the big and small sisters. It seemed that the unwilling memory came back to my mind. Luffy took a closer look. I remembered the little 8 with a similar mark on his forehead. Somewhat similar, but not exactly the same. Seeing that Luffy didn't recognize the pattern, the empress decided to tell Luffy everything about the mark. It's been years since Luffy beat celestial dragons around the world. No one dares to challenge the authority of celestial dragons. Not only does the empress come from sadness, like Luffy's risk of life. Those who dare to challenge celestial dragons should be trusted. Because the empress was a slave to celestial dragons before. The mark of the dragon's hoof is the sign of a slave. It is the proof of inferior human beings that cannot be eliminated in a lifetime. Luffy can't believe it. So noble and glamorous, the three sisters of the empress turned out to be slaves of celestial dragons. It was an unforgettable memory. When the empress was 12 years old. This is 3 carefree children. Without being abducted by human traffickers. It was later bought by celestial dragons for the enjoyment of others. It even put the marks of slaves on the backs of the 3 sisters. It was a day without a glimmer of hope. The turnaround came 4 years later. A man climbed up the red continent with his bare hands. Infiltrate the shrine of celestial dragons, Mariajoy. He was the adventurer Fisher Tiger who later led the Murloc pirates. To free that battered slave town. He tried his best to turn the world upside down. Even if the Murlocs hate humans. He treated all slaves equally. Freed slaves of all races. The 3 sisters also took the opportunity to escape. For the female third person. Tiger's kindness is too great. Although the Murlocs were liberated. But the mark of the slave will not disappear. Tiger, who was the enemy of the world government, and those people formed the Sun Pirates. In order to eliminate discrimination. He tattooed the marks of slaves on everyone as the symbol of the sun. This also explains the similarity of the sun mark, slave mark and Murloc mark on little 8's ahead. And the 3 sisters who used to be slaves in order to add fun to ACBD, celestial dragons. Forced to eat sweet fruit and snake fruit. It is also because of this devil fruit's hard work that she can ascend to the throne of the empress. Deceive the country and keep the secret. If Luffy hadn't blocked the mark on the skinny sisters back at that time. At this time, the 3 empresses had no way to stay on this island. The empress didn't want anyone to know their past. Even if I deceive the world, I don't want to reveal a single flaw. I don't want to go back to the life I used to be dominated by people. I really feel pity for the goddess to look like this. At this time, the empress was already weeping. He raised his head and cried. Many years of grievances have not been said to anyone. It makes me feel a little more comfortable by venting like this. So you look down on us who were slaves. It takes a lot of courage for the empress to ask this. Sure enough, Luffy did not disappoint the empress. In this way, the queen is also willing to send Luffy out of here. At the same time, a touch of shyness flew up the empress' cheek. Decided to send Luffy away early tomorrow morning. Before that, bring Luffy to the banquet. Have a good last meal. Luffy is overjoyed, the queen is really a good person. I lent him a boat and invited him to dinner. Really lucky again and again. The banquet begins. Luffy doesn't care and eats Hazel. Many girls are at a loss. There has never been a man here. Suddenly a little gloomy. Of course Luffy quit. Since it is a banquet, how can there be no music and dance? Just entertain yourself. To win the laughter of the surrounding girls. Facts have proved that secondhand goods are contagious. The awkward atmosphere was swept away. Let's all get high. On this island, men are a rare species. Many girls couldn't help but come up and touch them. Since there are so many people who want to touch, tickets are starting to line up. All of a sudden it was empty. It's a really good business. This Luffy is so popular. I can't stand these hot girls at all. Fortunately, she was taken away safely by Marit. I also learned that Luffy was desperate to protect himself before. Smile and smile. Under the leadership of Marit, we went to the residence of the mother-in-law in Haushan. Finally, I can eat meat in peace for a while. The mother-in-law, who was reading the newspaper, talked about the major events that happened in the past few days. Ace is my brother. A decision was also made to publicly execute Portka's D. Ace, Whitebeard's excellent subordinate. When Luffy heard this, he was suddenly lost, as if suffocating. Who? Among them, Shichibukai and Marine headquarters are about to fight the Whitebeard pirates. The mother-in-law was surprised when she heard it. Knowing that Whitebeard would never allow himself to die. This is the Marine government's provocation to the Whitebeard pirates, Chapter 400, Rush to impel down. Sneak into the dangerous place smoothly. Ace is my brother. The mother-in-law was also surprised when she heard it. Ace will be publicly executed 6 days later at Marine's headquarters in Marin. Luffy can't believe his ears. Such a powerful elder brother could be caught. No, this time I have to save him. Knowing that it will take about a week from here to Sabayati Archipelago. If you wait until you get together with your friends to save Ace. The day Lily was cold. At the same time, it would take a week to take a pirate ship from the impel-down prison where Ace was imprisoned. But if 4 days on a warship is enough. Because Marine is down by the ocean current, Eni's lobby impel dedicated to world government. Marine headquarters is connected by the giant Uzumaki. Access is required through the world gate guarded by Marine. At this time, Luffy took the life card of Ace, who had been hiding in the grass. Only one corner has been burned. Even Ace has her own adventures. Even if I try to save it myself, it will make Ace angry. But seeing that his brother is now at stake, there is no way to get together with friends for now. This time I have to save Ace no matter what. This war is bound to be horrific. Marine Admiral and Shichibukai will surely come out. I'm afraid it would be more difficult if Ace was brought to Marlene. My mother-in-law suggested that the best way is to go to impel down to save Ace in advance. This requires the Empress to accept Marine's mandatory summons. Then he took Luffy and sneaked into the warship. Let's go around to impel down first. This also has a little selfishness of my mother-in-law. As long as the Empress accepts the mandatory summons. To keep Shichibukai's name, keep 9 Snake Island safe. At this time, the bad news came that the Empress fell ill. Juncho did not invite the world to drop a sticky bean bag. Seeing that the female Emperor Shafei's cheeks were weak at this time. Kept breathing heavily. I shivered violently when I heard Luffy's name. The experienced mother-in-law knew at a glance that the Empress was suffering from lovesickness. Blessed are you, Luffy. When I heard that Luffy asked for something. The Empress, symptoms improved by half immediately. Luffy told the Empress about the reason. I hope the Empress can help him get on a warship and go to impel down. The Empress didn't think much about it, she just agreed. This is the power of love. There is no ability to refuse Luffy's request at all. The situation is urgent and we must leave immediately. The Empress Luffy took the poison dragon and sailed towards the warship of the Calm Belt. It didn't take long to see the previous Vice Admiral. But only the Queen can be uploaded. So where is Luffy hiding? Seeing that the Empress was willing to accept the call. Worried Vice Admiral is also relieved. I didn't do too much entanglement. It's just that the state of the Queen is a bit strange. But I didn't think much about it. Helped unlock the petrochemicals of the crew and headed down to impel. At this time, the Marine headquarters also received news that the Empress was coming. It's like taking a reassurance pill. In this way, Shichibukai came to 6 people. They are Hawkeye, Mihawk, Bartholomew, Bear, Don Quixote, Doflamingo, Moonlight, Moria, Marshall, D. Teach. And Empress Boya, Hancock, and one staunchly opposed to the war. Jinbei, the seaman who would not hesitate to be deprived of Shichibukai's name. Luffy learns that Doflamingo and Jinbei are also here. Instantly more confidence in this action. Both Doflamingo and Jinbei have some ties to Luffy. At this time, there was bad news from the Marine government. The Whitebeard pirates have already begun their operations. The 23 surveillance ships responsible for monitoring the Whitebeard pirates all lost contact at the same time. And the other pirate groups in New World are also restless. I don't know how big the Whitebeard pirates will be. I don't know when the war will start. The whole army is on alert immediately. And then Marine hero Garp Vice Admiral came to the 5th floor of Impel Down. Met her grandson Ace. The Empress and Luffy are on their way to Impel Down. Sleeping Luffy thought that he was still the buddies who were photographed flying. Woke up suddenly, in a cold sweat. At this time, the Empress did not know how to comfort her. At this time, Marineford Harbor, the headquarters of Marine. Famous and powerful Marines from all over the world are arriving one after another. Among them are our old friends. In the Eni's Lobby chapter, the Guerrilla Vice Admiral G, the chief commander of the 8th Fortress. Mrs. S Intelligence Agency, the powerful Marine, such as the Smoker Stamo and Dusky, etc. And of course Marine Admiral. On the other hand, Zero. Ask for flowers. Shichibukai, who has been summoned, is enjoying himself comfortably. These people also have ghosts. Everyone has their own calculus in their hearts. It's hard to tell when the war started. At this moment, the protagonist of this war, Ace, is being tied up with 5 flowers. Imprisoned on the 5th floor of the impelled down prison. Opposite him is Garp, his grandfather. At this time, Ace Ishin begged to die. He didn't want to involve Daddy Whitebeard with all his strength to save him. I don't even want to involve my companions in danger to save myself. But now it's too late. The gears of war are already turning. Ace shed tears. I don't know if it's moved, regretful, or worried about my partners. And Garp said it involuntarily. Originally, I wanted to train the 2 of you brothers into excellent Marines. Who knew you all became big bad guys? Really good fortune. If you become a Marine, it shouldn't be like this. Speaking of Luffy again. When it comes to Luffy knowing he has a dad, when he was still the leader of the Revolutionary Army, he couldn't believe he still had a relative. Ace snorted coldly. It's a hassle to know whether or not that kind of thing. 5. Luffy and I both inherit the blood of the world's greatest criminals. Even though my surname comes from my mother. But half the blood of my goddamn father still embarrassed me. He did not bring me any memory and kindness. All that left me was shame and that lingering stare. In fact, my dad is only Whitebeard. Garp never said anything again. Just a little pain in the chest. At this time, Luffy and the Empress are still driving towards Impel Down. Once the gears of war are turned, they will not stop easily. Impel Down. The world government's most stringent underwater prison is located in the Calm Belt. The seabed is full of ferocious sea monsters. There is also a marine warship guarding here. Security work can be described as exceptionally tight. With the help of the Empress, Luffy successfully infiltrated this dangerous place. The warship docked, and the Empress disembarked. No one knew where Luffy was hiding. The first step in entering Impel Down is to cleanse the body. In Seastone handcuffs. Being the Empress of Shichibukai is no exception. Chapter 401 Break into Impel Down. Meet old friend Buggy the Clown. The Queen is a little worried about what Luffy will do. But Luffy had a plan in his heart. The Queen was led by a young lady to a secret room. I want the Empress to undress and examine herself. And the monitor in the room is no longer good. Empress is Empress. Directly petrify the young lady together with the monitor. Put down Luffy, the Empress will be wearing Seastone handcuffs. There's no way to help Luffy anymore. All that's left is a lot of worry. Worried about Luffy making a fuss in Impel Down. At that time, no matter how good Luffy is, I am afraid it is difficult to escape. Luffy is not stupid. He grabbed the Empress's jade hand. I will repay you one day. The Empress couldn't take it anymore and got married on the spot. Empress Luffy parted smoothly. Just seeing Luffy's Empress is really cute. Now only Luffy takes out Ace's life card. 2, 2, 3, will go down to find. Impel Down has a total of 7 floors. The first floor of the sea is the place of baptism and torture. The Red Lotus layer on the ground floor is a forest of sword trees. Ferocious monsters and beasts are placed on the beast floor on the second underground floor. The prisoners on this floor will sooner or later become food for the beasts. On the third underground floor, the demon floor is heated due to the heating in the lower floor. As a result, this floor is also extremely hot. Coupled with the hunger strike, the prisoners here are better off dead than alive. 4 underground floors of scorching hell. Warden Magellan is on this floor. There are also kitchens and granaries. The temperature of the whole layer is quite high. Like a giant iron pan. It's all boiling blood pools and seas of fire. Ace is on the 5th floor. Luffy hurriedly finds the way underground on the 1st floor. There are no safe people here. Especially our old friend Buggy the Clown. Also just escaped from prison. Being hunted wildly by a group of Blue Star jailers. Coincidentally met the lost Luffy. Joined the hunt together. Buggy is still moving. This kid isn't here to save me, is it? What a silly kid. Luffy Buggy, chased by the blue orangutan, uses various means. The ground floor. Both of them can handle it easily. Especially Buggy was stunned to see Luffy's growth. When he learned that Luffy was here to save Ace, he was even more shocked. Buggy Ace also had a relationship before. And became good friends. But it is far from reaching the point of saving lives. Buggy doesn't want to go into this muddy water at all. I just want to go straight away. But seeing Luffy's epaulets. Isn't that Captain John's treasure map? As soon as you pounce on it, you will ask for it. But the epaulets were picked from Nami's treasures. Naturally, it will not be easily given to others. Buggy immediately promised to take Luffy to Ace. Luffy thought about it, and if that's the case, it's okay. Let Luffy take Buggy's feet. Joker's chop chop fruit lets the parts fly freely. But the scope of control is limited. And your feet must be on the ground. So that Buggy can fly forward. But can Buggy fly on its own feet? Seeing how much Buggy wants his health treasure map. Luffy just handed the epaulette out. Made Buggy unable to believe his eyes. Instantly moved to tears. Don't think of me as upright. I'm a cunning and useless man, don't believe me. The words on the mouth are moved, but the hands are very real. They have already started planning how to get away. Accidentally hit the wall directly. Luffy thought the clown was pointing a shortcut and punching the wall. Even rushed in with Buggy. This turned out to be the guard room on the 1st floor. Luffy's bark was instantly exposed. But at this moment Luffy can't think of so much. It slammed straight out and hit the crimson hell on the basement floor. The leaves here are like sword trees with blades. The grass below is also needle grass that can pierce the body like the tip of a needle. There are also poisonous spiders lying at their feet. At the same time, the prisoners here have been chased by the jailers. Suffering from being cut by leaves and being stabbed by spikes, it was really a blood-stained forest. The two who kept falling were not panicking. Let Luffy quickly drop Baja's feet. In this way, Buggy can carry Luffy. It turns out that Ha is the strongest mount. In this crimson forest there is a deep well. To the second floor. Luffy didn't hesitate at first glance and jumped down. The remaining Buggy abacus started again. I just want to go straight away. But God did not wish. A throwing axe shattered Buggy's dream. The body chased down with both feet. Of course, the big head is not spared. Fall together to the second floor of Hell Beast Floor 0. Luffy took Buggy around in this animal zoo. Here are the beasts of the demon world. Look how fierce this little hippo is. Fierce as fierce, and there is no mercy in the mouth. Then there are all kinds of strange beasts. Double knife mantis, Buggy Lisk. Luffy really doesn't want to waste time here. Open third gear directly. It was destroyed together with the guards on the second floor. On the second floor, the criminals were very excited to see the two who were able to defeat the beasts. Buggy looked at it and made a plan. It's better to let go of all these criminals and create chaos, so that you can take the opportunity to get away and gain a bunch of little fans along the way, and Buggy's road to becoming a god begins from then on. In particular, I also met an old acquaintance Mer.3 Candleman here. But don't forget that this is the beast floor. The prisoner thought about it, and it was safer to be in a cage. In this way, the three became the target of the beast's pursuit. Even if the three of them use their own means. But there are too many on the other side. Or a yo-yo is better. On the way to run away blindly. I met the beast boss Sphinx on the second floor again. And this guy spit out words. Open your mouth is all kinds of pasta. Ramen, banmian, byongbyong, braised noodles, sen noodles, wonton noodles. One pasta, one attack that complements each other. Seeing that continuing to escape is not the way. Stop this stuff by Luffy. At this time, the two brothers and sisters were already planning to escape together. 1.3 It's a pair of good brothers who are congenial. But this Sphinx would not give in easily. It's just a stampede on Mer.3. And this Candle Man made a bunch of avatars. This person is also an obsessive-compulsive offender. Constantly trampling on Candleman's avatar. A nonsense. Directly trample the second floor of the floor. The poison can release poison all over the body. Saw this impel down Warden Magellan. Even if you open your mouth to speak, you can spit out poisonous gas. The Empress was accompanied by a group of people to the fourth basement of Impel Down. The warden only works 4 hours a day. Overall this Magellan day was either pulling or on the way to pull. Because of diarrhea for nearly 10 hours. Even with the two people who were about to escape, they fell to the next floor. Magellan Paramesha Poison Fruit Ability, Chapter 402 accidentally united with Xiao Feng. The old friends are speechless when they meet. At this time, the news of Luffy's rioting with Impel Down has been conveyed. Fortunately, the Empress did a little trick here, and Magellan surrendered. Promised to accompany the Empress to see Ace first. At this time, there was another person in the same prison as Ace. It was Jinbei, the Shichibukai whale shark man who was resolutely opposed to this war. He wanted to do everything in his power to stop the war. You can give your life for this. Jinbei is a pirate who hates pirates very much. But he admires a man. For the peace of the Fishmen Island is up to Whitebeard. As the only way to go on the Grand Line, the Fishmen Island. It was already very barren when the age of navigation opened. Countless human pirates swarmed. Marine, who came after them, is also entrenched here. Many Murlocs and mermen have been abducted and sold. Just when everyone is in a desperate situation, Whitebeard appeared and announced that the Fishmen Island was his territory from now on. After that, with only the 3 words Whitebeard. No one dared to take action on the Fishmen Island. What a powerful force, what a great kindness. Whitebeard is the real pirate boss, and he cannot be beaten. What would the sea be like if Whitebeard was gone? Everyone can understand that O2 will usher in the era of great chaos again. Jinbei wanted to save Ace, but didn't have the corresponding strength. Whitebeard is the king of the sea. Naturally there are not a few who have received his favor. But there are not a few people who want to take the head of Whitebeard. Another former Shichibukai is also imprisoned here. Crocodile is wiping his golden hook, and this 5th layer is boiling. Isn't this a good time to kill Whitebeard? Everyone wants to be king of the new world. The quickest way is to kill the old king and start a new era. This floor is filled with some crazy and powerful people. Always maintain a bloodthirsty desire. And at Marine headquarters, Marshal Sengoku is also one of the first 2 big. This Straw Hat Luffy first overturned the Enies lobby. Beating celestial dragons again, and now invading Impel Down. This Luffy is the first intruder in the history of this Impel Down. Sengoku pointed angrily at Garp. Why your grandson again? Garp also gave a thumbs up. There are really 2 times, worthy of being my grandson. Garp was so angry that 1 Buddha came out of his body and 2 Buddhas ascended to heaven. At this time, the 3 people who fell to the 3rd floor also woke up. This 3rd floor is extremely hot, and it looks a bit desolate. The three walked wearily in this desert. A prison finally appeared ahead. It can be shaded. It was only after I got closer that I found that the prisoners here were already skinny with hunger and lost their appearance. The prisoners here are all powerful criminals who once offered a reward of more than 50 million. Through the baking of the lower layer, coupled with the lack of water and food. These prisoners are already half dead. Do you know why there is so much sand on the third floor? That's because these sandstorms are the bones of prisoners who died of starvation. If the three of them continue to grumble like this, I guess it's not going anywhere. Now is not the time to chat, let's go. But the three Kabuto walked around and went back to the starting point. Worse yet, they have fallen into the trap of the jailers. Was caught in a single net, and Seastone was involved in the iron net. As a result, the fruit ability of the three people cannot be used at all. It's just that the Sphinx that was caught together woke up at this time. At that time, I didn't want to, I struggled. And the power of this product is surprisingly large. A few bowls of noodles directly broke through the iron net. The three escaped successfully. Luffy at this time is not something that a group of jailers and blue gorillas can handle. A rubber machine gun hit them all on their backs. And Buggy and MRE.3 lived up to expectations and were preparing to leave. Luffy didn't think much about it, so I wish the two of them a safe escape. Luffy went on to tangle with the jailers. The Sphinx also got involved. Luffy knows that now is not the time for more entanglement. It also retreated first, looking for the entrance to the next floor. The two escaped Buggy were attracted by a burst of singing and dancing. From the third basement of the Impel Down Hunger Prison came a song. Buggy and MRE.3 are attracted. Taking a closer look, it was indeed Feng Clay. Feng Zhong was speechless when he met his old friend. However, Feng Zhong was still saved. At this time, the Empress and Warden Magellan came to the prison where Ace was held on the 5th floor of Impel Down. The name of the Empress is so beautiful in the whole sea. And the prisoners here are unscrupulous. Lawless people, foul language pointed directly at the Empress. Magellan also wanted to scold these lunatics. But also ruthlessly ridiculed. You are a guy who has diarrhea all day, what's so fierce? Magellan was furious and turned into a poisoner on the spot. A strong venom oozes from the body. Terrifying indeed, venom exposed. 3 substantive poisonous dragons have been transformed, and some lessons must be taught to these outspoken prisoners. And the Empress took this opportunity to rush forward to pass the news to Ace. Ace was stunned when he heard it. Can't believe his worried little brother Luffy is here to save him. After Magellan taught the prisoners, the Queen also finished conveying the news, turned around and left with everyone. The situation at this time is no longer within the control of the Empress. Can only hope that Luffy can rescue Ace safely. Meanwhile, Luffy is still looking for a way to the 4th floor. But he had already been discovered by the jailers 223. Just a burst of gun nets. They are all iron nets with seastone. Luffy naturally did not dare to relax his vigilance. And the Sphinx rushed over again. Hold Luffy down. In this critical moment, a voice drank the lion. Looking up, it turned out to be Zoro. Luffy was naturally overjoyed when he saw it. But then Zoro's move made Luffy dumbfounded. Just see Zoro, a gorgeous spinning jumping swan spreads its wings in the wind. The skeptical life that kicked the lion with one punch. After saving Luffy, Luffy also reacted. This is not Zoro at all, and upon closer inspection, it is Feng Zhong. At that time, Xiao Feng turned into a Straw Hat group. The scene of sacrificing himself to cover the departure of the Straw Hats is still in sight. Seeing each other again at this moment is an indescribable emotion. When the two attacked together, these soldiers were naturally not opponents. The Sphinx also blew the lamp and pulled out the wax under the combined attack of the two. Magellan, who had sent away the Empress, was finally able to work in peace. But the Impel Down at this time can be said to be a mess. The blue orangutan jailer is also doing all he can to suppress. Also went together. I heard that Luffy is going to the 5th underground floor. The 2 basement floors are completely out of control. For a while, he lost his fighting power, and the brothers were invincible. The 3rd floor has also been turned upside down. It just so happened that there were also people Xiao Feng wanted to see. Chapter 403 Impelled down the 4th floor. Entering the ambush. While Magellan was annoyed, a blonde woman came in with 3 cute monsters. Said he could share his worries for Magellan. Magellan's simple analysis. At this time, there is a jailer beast on the 3rd underground floor. But there are too many places to escape on the 3rd floor. There is no way to corner them. Now dispatch all the troops of Impel down to the 4th underground floor. If the Straw Hats fall to the 4th floor, then Magellan will do it himself. At this time, Luffy and Xiao Feng were running wildly on the 3rd underground floor. But was stopped by a strange cow walking on 2 legs. I don't know if the human ate the ox new fruit or the ox ate the human fruit. But this old cow's attack speed is extremely fast. After all, it is a flashback. He directly gave Xiao Feng a ruthless hammer. Nothing stopped, and ran to Luffy again. Luckily, Luffy had taken precautions earlier, and there was a flash. But before Luffy stood firm, the old cow followed again. Just a hammer to fly Luffy's hammer out. Immediately after, the old cow pressed hard. I'm going to hit Luffy in the head. Xiao Feng hurried up and blocked Luffy with first aid, but he was caught by the old cow. Pressing on the ground will end Xiao Feng. Luffy did not hesitate, and hurriedly turned on the 2nd gear. Launch the full-strength rubber rocket launcher. Slept hard on the old cow. Hit the old cow straight out. Luffy and the two temporarily eased the crisis. This bull is also a bit tough. The two Kabuto went around to a kiln. Just jumped up. High temperature. Even Luffy's slippers can't handle it. This scorching ground is gushing out waves of heat from below. Nearly passed out Luffy's heat. The place where the heat wave came out was the blazing hell, the 4th basement level, where Luffy was going. The 4th basement floor of Impel Down is a huge iron pot. Inside are pools of boiling blood and seas of burning fire. All you have to do now is to pay attention to the orientation when you jump from here. Do not jump directly into the pot. Otherwise, it's a real direct oil pan. Just as the two were about to leap, Buggy and MRE.3 brought the old cow over again. This is worth it. The 2-person run was changed to a 4-person run. Buggy being chased by this old cow is also very hot. Decided to use his own buggy cannon that once made Luffy into despair. Luffy was stunned. What kind of thing? I don't remember it at all. Hearing Luffy's answer, Buggy instantly felt. The clown is himself. At this critical time, MRE3 is still holding hands. It would be great to be named after you. That gave Buggy a little face. Buggy is no longer nonsense. Raise your feet to shoot Buggy shells. The power of this cannonball is really extraordinary. It exploded in an instant, and it seemed that the charcoal grilled steak was about to come out. Heroes never look back to explode. But the old cow actually stood up. Xiao Feng no longer hesitated and rushed forward. MRE.3 add a strengthening buff to Luffy. Xiao Feng took the lead. Luffy later added the reinforced rubber hammer rotating bomb. The beaten old cow flew out directly. It is a complete solution to this difficult old cow. After solving the old cow, the four discussed where to go. Luffy, Xiao Feng naturally wants to go to the 4th floor. MRE.3 firmly opposes, let's yo-yo quickly. A serious person who goes to the 4th floor. Luffy didn't take it seriously. I saw Luffy dug out a big booger from his nostrils and asked them. Look at this round booger, how big is it? Buggy and MRE.3 are still struggling with resentment. As everyone knows, they are already declining rapidly. Come on, there is no need to discuss this time. Searing hellfire awaits them. At the same time, after watching the Empress of Ace return to the warship under the leadership of Vice Admiral. Sail to Marine headquarters. At this time, a small soldier came to report. Red-haired Shanks caused turmoil in the New World. This time the object of his face is the ant. Redhead Shanks is trying to stop Whitebeard's ant taking this opportunity. Now the battle between Whitebeard and Marine is unavoidable. Whitebeard Pirates, the strongest pirate group today. On Marine's side, the 3 Admiral and the 7 Warlords of the Sea headed all of Marine's troops. Regardless of the outcome of this battle, it will definitely go down in history. At this time, the 4th underground floor of Impel Down has entered a state of full alert. Block the 4 Straw Hats. Warden Magellan came out to work with a toilet. I have to say that Magellan's adaptability is also good. Immediately arrange for his subordinates to guard the passage leading to the 3rd underground floor. The passage leading to the 5th underground floor is guarded by the deputy warden Hanyabal with the jailer. And he is guarding the 4th basement to hunt down Straw Hat crew. But now the most important thing is to be convenient. At this time, the 4 Straw Hats also successfully reached the 4th underground floor. Because the ground was too hot, I performed a tap dance. All of a sudden Luffy smelled the smell of rice and walked away. Xiao Feng also followed, just when Buggy also wanted to keep up with a meal and drink. But was stopped by MRE.3. Backquote. Are you a brain? Have a bubble. It's so quiet here, there's not a single jailer. It means that we may have entered an ambush. Trapped on the 4th floor. The most terrifying thing is that the Warden Magellan is also on this 4th floor. Fortunately, their main target is Straw Hat Luffy. But we're jailbreakers, and it's just as hard to get caught. Now while the Straw Hat Luffy is drawing fire, let's yo-yo. MRE.3 usually does not show mountains and does not leak water. At this time, the problem was analyzed so thoroughly. It can also be called the resourceful general, but unfortunately it is used in the wrong place. As predicted, then Luffy was stopped by a group of jailers. Although these minions are quickly dealt with, but can't stand the large number. Stops Luffy's footsteps. I saw the venom falling down little by little. Warden Magellan fell from the sky. A strong sense of oppression hit the crowd. Magellan glanced at Luffy. It was this guy in front of him who smeared his career as a warden. Now that I see the deity, I will not let it go easily. Alright, Magellan didn't hesitate. It is directly transformed into a poisonous man and evolved into a 10-jong lion majesty. Pounce on Luffy. Luffy also wanted to smash it with a rubber pistol. Seeing this, Xiao Feng shouted. No. Immediately rushed up. Block Luffy's fist with your body. Ignoring Luffy's surprise. He shouted. No, you can't fight. As long as you touch it, you will be directly poisoned, and you can't fight at all. His body is full of poison. 35. Magellan didn't want to see their brotherhood. The poisonous dragon is about to bite. Xiao Feng thought for a while. Magellan targets Luffy. Then it becomes Luffy's appearance. Attract the fire and let Luffy run quickly. This time even Luffy couldn't help but complain. This is a little too obvious. Xiao Feng is still wearing prison clothes. Magellan looked at the two of them speechlessly. And split into 2 dragons. It completely dispelled the idea of the two running away. Chapter 404 Luffy vs Magellan. The ultimate legendary beautiful man. 3 poisonous dragons circled forward, in no particular order. Even though Luffy is flexible, Venom's attacks are everywhere. Magellan released a series of poisonous gas shells. Makes Luffy inevitable, and with Dulong as the channel. This Magellan was able to travel freely in the poison and came to Luffy. Take off the horns on your head and fight Luffy in close quarters. The attack power of this poisonous horn is also very powerful. The strength of the venom and the walls were melted. Xiao Feng, who was watching the battle next to him, was also worried. He knows the power of Magellan. Even if you do your best, you don't have the slightest chance. After simulating all kinds of attacks, you need to get close to your body. But as long as it goes up, it hangs directly without any accident. There is not even the slightest chance of winning. What should I do? What should I do? Xiao Feng fell into a deep tangle. Sorry. Xiao Feng, who had no chance of winning, decided to run away, and ran away with reluctance and guilt. Luffy has been losing ground under Magellan's attack. Since this Magellan is covered in venom, Luffy can't attack at all. But at this moment Luffy's heart has decided, carrying out the belief that Ace must be rescued. 240 forcibly pushes the third gear state. Even if it's poison, if you lose without touching you, it would be better to knock you down and then chop off those hands. Luffy never hesitated again. Launching the rubber jet rocket gave Magellan a hard blow. Magellan probably never thought that anyone would dare to be so cruel. He attacked himself like this, was beaten and stumbled to his knees. But really no big deal. But Luffy's hands are already covered in venom. Neurotoxins are attacking Luffy's nerves, making them sore. But he hasn't given up yet. Screaming vigorously, he stood up again. Get double guns fired one after another. Opened 2 poison holes in Magellan. And Magellan continued to cast the venom attack, being evaded by Luffy's super fast movement speed. In an instant he came behind Magellan and was about to launch a surprise attack. But Magellan also took precautions. The right hand turned into a poisonous dragon again, biting away like Luffy. This time Luffy didn't dodge, the rubber pistol directly shattered it. But the rich venom covered the whole body. Luffy's consecutive strong attacks did not leave any damage to Magellan, ACBD. At this time, Luffy was in Magellan's poisonous gas. As the ubiquitous cloud of poison in the realm erodes Luffy's body. And the consciousness gradually blurred. Leaves Luffy helpless. I saw Luffy quickly jump out of the poison cloud area, the rubber balloon quickly blows away the poison cloud. But it didn't take a moment for the poisonous mist to condense again. Luffy couldn't bear the severe pain that pierced his nerves all the time. Fell headlong. Magellan stepped forward to check. There is really no threat. Just ready to leave gracefully. But Luffy survived with a strong obsession. Hit the ground, reawakening the consciousness of the body. Continued to attack Magellan one after another. But it was all in vain. Been knocked down all the time, then attacked again. Here's Luffy, the big brother who is trying to save everything. But Luffy's successive attacks are ridiculous in Magellan's eyes. At this point Luffy's limbs were out of order. Luffy directly put his legs into the fire to roast in exchange for a little initiative. Then forcibly pushed the third gear. Magellan also reincarnated as a poison man, releasing the poison dragon. This is the last blow of Luffy's obsession. The results speak for themselves. Beneath the mighty dragon of Magellan, Luffy had no chance of winning and was overwhelmed by venom. In Magellan's eyes, Luffy is hopeless. Let him die painfully in venom. Instructed his subordinates to pull Luffy into the central tower on the 5th underground floor. Let her be tortured to death by venom. This also gave Luffy a chance. At this time, the escape duo Buggy and MRE.3 have slipped to the passage from the 4th floor to the 3rd floor. There is Deputy Warden Hannibal guarding here. MRE.3 Emil analysis, I feel that this is the weakest defense, ready to break out again. Hannibal looked at the two chattering. His face was indifferent, but his heart blossomed with joy. The chance finally came, let them go now. Plus the Straw Hat Luffy invasion. The blame above is the responsibility of Warden Magellan. So can I be promoted? This position of Warden will be mine sooner or later. Hannibal saw the two of them coming. He quickly ordered his men to make way for them. Let them run away quickly. That's why Buggy is too smart. If you don't believe it, help them leave so easily. Just a Buggy candle explosion package. This made Hannibal unhappy. You two idiots can go there in peace. Why so many things? Afterwards, the two of them were cleaned up without much effort. What's the matter with you? Let you go, you don't go. Hannibal is also very helpless watching. At this time, Xiao Feng, who had escaped, also arrived here. A set of sharp punches saved Buggy and MRE.3. But the rest of the Hannibal is not easy to deal with. It was just that the atmosphere at that time was a little hot. When Magellan finishes solving Luffy and comes back to check. These jailers have all been dealt with. Knowing from Hannibal's mouth that Xiao Feng defeated them. Did not save Buggy and MRE.3. Instead, he escaped to the 3rd floor alone. When Magellan heard this, he immediately arranged for Sachi to go to the 3rd floor to hunt down Xiao Feng. Buggy and MRE.3 at Hannibal's disposal. And he did another big thing himself. Wait until Hannibal and Buggy are alone. Only then did I know that this Hannibal was actually changed by Xiao Feng. The real Hannibal doesn't know how Xiao Feng was dealt with. Buggy and MRE.3 looked excited and were finally saved. I'm going to take Xiaofeng and run away together. Xiaofeng said no, we have to hurry to save Luffy. Again, the two were startled. Facing the invincible Magellan and leaving Luffy to fight alone. Xiaofeng chose to escape. But even if there is a chance to save Luffy, Xiaofeng will save himself even if he sacrifices himself. This was the oath he had made when he fled. Running away sometimes doesn't mean retreating. But to move forward better. More because they are already partners. There is no reason at all to save. But to save Luffy, the first step is to detoxify. For Magellan's poison to be unraveled, it would take a miracle. The miracle opened Xiaofeng's mind, thinking that there is a person who can create miracles in this impel down. Whether it is a terminally ill patient, or a country that is about to perish. He is a beautiful man, Ms. Ivan, who can save all who have left behind the ultimate legend. Chapter 405 The beautiful man of the ultimate legend, Ms. Ivan. He is a beautiful man, Ms. Ivan, who can save all who have left behind the ultimate legend. Xiaofeng, who had already made a decision in his heart, turned into Hanyable. With two people in big padded jackets. Under the guidance of the guards. Go to freezing hell, the 5th floor of this impel down. In order not to expose Xiaofeng, I had to take off my cotton padded clothes like Hanyable before. Of course, the two prisoners were not spared either. In the bitter cold winter, the three of them were instantly frozen into popsicles. It was fine when I came, but I won't go back. And the ice and snow wolves are approaching them step by step. In the face of the ice wolf's bite and fleeing, the duo chose Yo-Yo on the spot, leaving Xiaofeng alone to deal with the group of ice wolves. At this time, Xiaofeng didn't even care about dressing up. Swan boxing attack, but the weather is too cold. It restricted Xiaofeng's boxing skills to become the Chinese food in the mouth of the ice wolf. The two of Buggy are also unlucky, shivering in the cold wind. Since the two are allies, in this icy world, the two do not work together as one, hugging each other. Maybe a little warmer, groping each other. It's disgusting not to feel the warmth. Just look for an exit. At the same time, Luffy, whose body was soaked in venom, held in pain in this extremely cold prison. Limbs are abolished, consciousness is blurred, but still struggled to stand up. Hit the iron cage with the head again and again. Fall again and again. Luffy he hasn't given up. He must rescue Ace. What is this pain for? But now Luffy is just doing a pointless struggle. His poison was too deep. While Luffy was in a trance, a figure appeared outside the prison. Xiaofeng, who came to the outside of the prison, looked at Luffy who fell to the ground. Feelings of remorse welled up in my heart. Blame yourself for leaving Luffy to run away alone. But this time we must save Luffy. Xiaofeng dragged Luffy to find the legendary Ms. Ivan. Walked through every inch of this extremely cold prison. Ask every prisoner in the prison. But they all shook their heads. Luffy lay on the plank, suffering piercing pain. Finally got the news from a bearded prisoner. Said to be in the forest. But the forest is known to be the den of the wolves. But Xiaofeng did not hesitate. Go to the forest. The biting winter wind made Xiaofeng's hands unable to hold. But looking at Luffy who was still struggling with venom, Xiaofeng knew that it had to bear it. In the end, Ms. Ivan was not found. But met wolves, hungry wolves attacked. Xiaofeng tried his best to survive. But the more hungry wolves surrounded. There are also wolves that bite Luffy on the plank. Xiaofeng has to be distracted to protect Luffy. Even an iron fist can block a few wolves. Seeing that Xiaofeng was about to be buried in the mouth of the wolf, Luffy struggled to stand up. His arms were weak, and he could only bite with his teeth. Looking at Xiaofeng covered in blood, Luffy's eyes reddened. The mighty conqueror's haki unfolds again. The wolves that were still alive just now collapsed to the ground in an instant. Even a severely wounded king is still a king. But he couldn't hold it any longer, and he fell headlong. Xiaofeng also reached the limit and fainted. In this desperate moment, Luffy. A figure came over. When Xiaofeng woke up, the whole body has been bandaged. Explore the surroundings. Open the door and see. A happy and harmonious environment. This that. It's harmony anyway. There is no control, no howling. Can't believe it's inside the impelled down prison. As the stage curtain opened. At the very center of this stage, our most ecstatic man, Ms. Ivan, is here. With this strong rhythm of music. The graceful dance moves with the music. Because the picture at that time was so beautiful. I don't dare to see that it will hurt. Welcome to bursts of applause. All kinds of things here are constantly impacting Xiaofeng's three views. The audience is in a carnival, shouting, Ms. Ivan, when Ms. Ivan. A big man broke through the door holding a cannon. I'm going to seek revenge on Ms. Ivan. The reason is that Ms. Ivan had previously turned his father, who was a king, into a sister. Broken country and family. Today is for revenge. As he spoke, he charged Ms. Ivan with a shot. Madam Ivan gave the cannonball a wink. In an instant, the shells wrapped around it all rebelled. Hit like this big guy. 0. For flowers. Then Ms. Ivan quickly approached the big man to make a needle. Give Dayan a shot of female hormones. Then the male characteristics of the big man continued to degenerate. Not for a moment. The strong man just now turned into a charming girl. Xiaofeng looked stupid, but he knew this was the man he was looking for to save Luffy's life. Immediately ran forward, knelt at the feet of Ms. Ivan. Pray for Ms. Ivan to save the poisoned Luffy. As long as he can save Luffy, he is willing to let Xiaofeng do anything. Ms. Ivan took the child to see Luffy. He asked again, do you know why you were being treated? It's that poisoned straw hat Luffy. Beg me to save you first. When his life is at stake. Zero. I can still think of saving my friends first. Thinking of such feelings in this cold-blooded prison. At that time, Ms. Ivan shot to save their good brothers who cherished each other. And the treatment of Luffy had already started 10 hours ago. Only so far, Luffy was still howling. 10 hours ago, Luffy was tied to this stone bed. Ms. Ivan offered to consume 10 years of Luffy's life. But there is no guarantee that it will be possible to save Luffy after consuming these 10 years. Because Luffy's poisoning is too deep. All Ms. Ivan can do is increase Luffy's odds of survival by a few %. Can you survive in the end? The key is to look at Luffy himself. Talking like Luffy, 2 types of injection therapy hormones. Huge pain exploded inside Luffy. That kind of pain, like 10,000 steel needles piercing every cell, makes people feel hopeless. And the huge howl inside the door made Xiaofeng feel terrified outside the door. Luffy, what kind of pain is he going through? I've already said that. I'm already saving him, and now it's up to him. None of us can help him. If he can resist the past, then he can live. If not, it's better to die happily like this. Point 395. Causes Luffy to face Magellan alone. Please, you must save him. You can let me do anything, as long as it can save him. 39. Because of his escape, Ms. Ivan is also very impatient. So hurriedly knelt down beside Ms. Ivan. The more I think about this, the more Xiaofeng blames himself. Xiaofeng felt extremely self-blame when he heard Luffy's shouting. Chapter 406. The strong-willed Luffy returns with full blood. Luffy howls in pain in the dungeon. The tragic voice made Xiaofeng outside the door feel terrified. And the howling had been going on for 10 hours. Ivan's injection just stimulated Luffy's potential immunity. Transform into a physique that can fight against viruses. It keeps destroying, regenerating within Luffy. Only through this pain could Luffy save his life. Xiaofeng glanced at Luffy inside through the door and window. At this time, Luffy is completely devoid of human appearance. The body has been cracked, and every inch of skin has become a mess. Xiaopeng was so frightened that he quickly hugged Ivan's thigh. No, this won't work, he will die, save him. Xiaofeng, who was crying bitterly, provoked Ivan to go up and punch him. Isn't that saving him? Do you know how difficult it is to resist a mortal fate? This pain must be carried by 240 himself, if there is no belief in living. Then let him die directly. Miracles will only come to those who never give up. Don't underestimate miracles. Ivan's words were deafening. Now it's up to Luffy's own will and faith. Even so, Xiaofeng outside the door was still worried. Ivan still values Xiaofeng, a kind and righteous man. During this period, he explained to Xiaopeng. This park is in the middle of the mezzanine between the 5th and 6th floors of Impel Down. And the 6th layer of Impel Down is the most unknown core layer. The prisoners are all those who were betrayed to death. Because the activities inside are too brutal, it has long been wiped out by the world government. Therefore, ordinary people simply do not know the existence of this 6th layer. At the same time, there is a powerful fighting force in this prison. He is the keeper of Impel Down, the stream of rain. As strong as Warden Magellan. Even more than that. And this guard of the stream of the long rain often kills prisoners for no reason. So he was imprisoned in the 6th basement by Warden Magellan. There are also many legendary figures who are imprisoned there. Ace is also in the 6 underground floors. This is the secret floor of Impel Down that is not known to outsiders. But I'm afraid Luffy has no time to save Ace. Thinking that there is Luffy in his heart who must save his brother's obsession. Xiaofeng was too distressed to breathe and decided to accompany Luffy. Luffy is still suffering in the cave. Xiaofeng kept cheering for Luffy outside the door. Hold on, Luffy, hold on. 35. Even if Xiaofeng, who was seriously injured, swayed unsteadily. Cheer up Luffy even if he vomits blood. Even if what he did was useless. But he's fighting the pain with Luffy. He believed in Luffy. Even calling out Luffy's name at the cost of his own life. Although Luffy and Xiaofeng have already exceeded their limits. But still try to work miracles. There was also an inexplicable emotion in the people around him. Let's cheer for Luffy together. Be sure to hold on, Luffy. Everyone is united, cheering for Luffy. But when the hissing sound in the cave disappeared, blood flowed out from the inside. Logically speaking, the pain will continue for more than 2 days. Is it a failure? Suddenly, the sound of ping pong came from the cave. Luffy really came over. But at this time, the blood in the body has been drained, and they are a little out of phase with hunger, shouting. Meat. I want to eat meat. 35. Luffy finally came back to life. Hurry up and send the big fish and meat to Luffy cave. At this time, he swept the meal like a bottomless pit. When everyone slowly looked at Luffy who came out. It doesn't look like a human at all, it's just eating and not digesting. In no time, the energy in the stomach fills the whole body. The big fat Luffy just now turned into a refined boy. The deeply poisoned Luffy was forcibly stimulated by Ivan at the cost of 10 years of life. In the end, with his superhuman will, he finally recovered, and he grew into a strong young man. It feels like the head has grown taller and the body has become stronger. People couldn't believe it at all. It's a miracle that Magellan's poison was so deep that he was able to recover. Xiao Feng saw that Luffy was safe and sound, and finally collapsed to the ground from exhaustion and fell asleep. Ivan told Luffy what happened before Xiao Feng. Made Luffy deeply moved. He owes Xiao Feng too much. This Xiao Feng is really a man of love and righteousness. But Luffy, who had just recovered, didn't have time to rest. Before he can take care of Xiao Feng, he has to save Ace. Take out the life card to check, the direction of Ace is still below. Luffy was about to go in the direction of the life card. Ask Tenwan if you want to escape together. Ivan said that now is not the time for me to escape. Outside, Whitebeard is about to fight Marine. Will be a mess. The world will also be turned upside down. But my revolutionary army leader who stirred the world. My fellow revolutionary army dragon has not acted. Zero. Yes, when your father led the army into action. This is the day I return to the ground and throw the waves of the world. Now, even if you blindly escape from prison, you will only be wanted. Ivan was long-winded for a few minutes before realizing the point. What? Dragon is your dad? Just kidding you. Luffy also didn't know what he found, and said he didn't know either. Anyway, his grandfather said that the Revolutionary Army Dragon is his father. Seeing Luffy's expression doesn't look fake. Coupled with Luffy's extraordinary vitality and tenacious will, it's really possible. And Luffy, who was born in East Blue, learned from chatting with Dragon earlier. In terms of details, it is also inferred that the dragon was also born in East Blue. All of this shows that this Straw Hat Luffy really may be the son of the dragon. That's okay. I immediately ordered my subordinates to check the departure time of Ace. And he himself immediately went to the 6th floor with Luffy to save Ace. At this time, Ivan's brainstorming is not enough, he is too careless. Luffy is the son of the dragon. Then his brother Ace is also the son of the dragon. And now that Marine is going to publicly execute Dragon's son and bring Whitebeard over to him. Are they crazy? Is this a trap for dragons? What exactly does the Marine government intend for 1.3? What is their purpose? Long, you are too capable of giving birth. But whatever the purpose, now the most important thing is to escape from prison to save Ace. He must not watch his countryman's son die before his eyes. Also, immediately warn Luffy, never again to easily reveal his life experience. Very scary. Looking at Luffy who was slumped to the ground again, he gave Luffy another excitatory hormone. Tired Luffy was instantly revived with full health. But this has consequences. But now I can't handle that much anymore. Ivan and Luffy all the way to the 6th floor with sparks and lightning. At the same time, the Warden Magellan personally came to the 6th underground floor. Escort Ace to Marine's handover, and go to Marine for numerous public executions. There are now 6 hours before Ace's public execution. Single G Chapter 407 Escort Ace. Impel down internal and external troubles. Luffy, Ivan and other 3 people can't care about exposure at this time. Rampage all the way, finally reach the 6th basement level of Impel down. Yelling is not the way. Ivan brought out a guard. From the beginning, this product still swears to death. But waiting for Ivan to operate. The guard just now became a beautiful sister. This is the real self. Mutiny in an instant, pointing out the location of Ace. But Luffy was one step behind. Ace has been taken by Magellan. Jinbei in prison saw the straw hat. Recognizing that this is really Ace's younger brother to save Ace. He really couldn't believe that someone could sneak into the 6th basement of this Impel down. Tell Luffy right away, Ace has just been taken away, and if you pursue it now, there may be a chance to recover Ace. 39. Luffy saw that Jinbei was also on the 6th floor of the prison. I was also very surprised. Jinbei was supposed to be at the base camp of the Straw Hat Corps. Luffy didn't have time to think about it. Hearing what Jinbei said, the 3 no longer hesitated. Immediately O2 turned around and chased Ace. But their every move has already been controlled by Hanyable through surveillance. Immediately destroyed the stairs leading to the upper floor. It also emits a lot of poisonous gas. Luffy doesn't care so much. Just rush, and then just fall directly to the ground. It turned out that what was sprayed was hypnosis gas, just to trap the 3 of them. However, at this time the Revolutionary Army came out with lightning. He is the fruit of scissors, capable of cutting anything. And what you cut can be used like paper. In this way, the gas was sealed with the floor. But it also blocked the way to the upper floors. At this time, Ace was escorted by Magellan to complete the handover with Marine. I also learned from Magellan's call that Luffy really went to the 6th floor. Makes Ace mixed feelings. How can Luffy be so reckless? Dare to carry Impel down alone. He really couldn't bear to let Luffy take risks for him. I don't want to be dragged anymore. Ace couldn't bear it any longer, moved his hand. Work hard to deal with this group of prison guards one after another. After grabbing the weapon and pushing the summoner, the soldier can't get close at all. But Magellan is behind, can't beat Ace at all and wants to run away. But Magellan's ruthless hand slammed Ace to the ground. Ace backed by Seastone can't do half a trick in Magellan's hands. This may be his fate. He was bound to be sent to Marine to a multitude of fates. Marine sent a full-fledged warship to pick up Ace. Finally got on the boat that went to Marine. But what he never thought was. It was originally for Luffy. So that the next time we can meet the life card. That's why Luffy found this place with this life card. The life card sent out clearly became Luffy's destiny talisman. It also made Ace a little regretful. My stupid brother. Luffy, who was trapped on the 6th floor, took out his life card again. It shows that the direction of Ace has been changed from directly above to other directions. This means that Ace has completed the handover, was pushed to the Marine headquarters in Marin, and went to many. It is the place where the entire Marine force is most concentrated. Sitting on the strongest combat power in the world. Darkness advised Luffy to give up. Now I can only rely on Whitebeard. He will surely save his comrade. But how can Luffy, who is concerned with Ace, agree? He must go, even if it is the abyss of hell, even if it is the sea of blood purgatory. He must also save Ace. As soon as Ivan heard it, loudly persuaded Luffy not to go. You can't beat a Magellan. A few more lives to Marine HQ are not enough to lose. But in the face of Luffy's powerful words, 10,000 seems to feel that he is facing a dragon. That kind of aura that even though thousands of people have gone to me also made him miss him a little. Ivan said nothing again. Lightning rushed out to ease the atmosphere. Don't say whether to go or not. Now we can't even get out of this floor. Then a voice came, waiting for the speaker to come forward. Luffy discovered that this was the crocodile that occupied Alabasta at the time. This is a cunning and sinister man. And he has Whitebeard's head as his goal. Now I want to trade my strength as a bargaining chip. Let Luffy take him away. To be honest, Luffy is still a little flustered here. Because the shadow crocodile cast on Luffy was too serious at that time. Didn't want to save him, but when Ivan walked into this crocodile's face it would be wonderful. It's alright, let Luffy rescue him. I knew him when he was a newcomer. The strength of this guy is also good, and I promise that he will not betray us. Although this old sand is extremely untrustworthy, I will suppress it. Or I'll reveal his little secret. Crocodile also looked helpless and angry. It was pinched. This is Luffy also thinking about taking Jinbei out. In this way, Luffy's team joins two powerful Artifact C members. Of course this team is not harmonious. The jailer also broke through and found that Luffy and the others were already empty. The jailer who was about to leave was stopped by a voice. The one who spoke was their guardian, Shiryu of the Long Reign. At this time, Crocodile even put on the equipment. This efficiency is also leveraged. In order to help Luffy, Xiao Feng. Let Ivan also inject him with stimulant hormones. And Ms. Ivan gave another order. Their manpower is too small to break through the circle of jailers. To increase the chances of jailbreaking, release all the prisoners from the 5th basement floor to the 1st floor. Caused a riot of impel down, draining the jailers' combat power. The more chaotic the impel down, the higher the success rate of their jailbreak. Act now, Luffy, Jinbei, Crocodile 240 lead the way. The door is useless to Crocodile, and it collapses in an instant. The jailers waited here for a long time. But they are all a group of salted fish and miscellaneous soldiers. Crocodile's shot is still as sharp as hockey. Jinbei's slap is so strong that it seems to overturn the impel down. It didn't take much effort for the group of jailers to fall apart. Crocodile also came up with its own capable man MRE.1. The long-lost escape, the duo finally Kabuto turned to the 2nd floor. It is also the release of prisoners to cause confusion. Invisibly helping Luffy again, Ivan, who was on the 4th underground floor, also led his army. Give your big face a shot of facial growth hormone to enter big head mode. Coupled with the regional wink, it is invincible like a big-faced bulldozer. Chopping melons and vegetables all the way, the menacing force, ordinary prison guards could not stop this group of people. At the same time, he even shot directly at Marine, obviously with a strong attacking stance. There is also Shichibukai's Blackbeard attacking at the front gate. What should we do? On the 2nd floor, Buggy is rioting with prisoners. Hannibal as deputy warden is a head too big. At this time, Impel Down has internal and external troubles. The Blackbeards who were supposed to be on standby at Mary's Many appeared outside the prison door of this Impel Down. Straw Hat Crew is breaking out on the 4th floor. Came with darkness, Chapter 408 Impel Down Riot. A heroic image of wisdom and courage. What should we do? Hannibal was completely helpless and at a loss. At this time, Magellan's call gave him the backbone again. Now the riots on the 2nd floor have been suppressed by Magellan. And the exit has been blocked. Then in order to contain Blackbeard, he decided to release Shiryu of Rain to stop Blackbeard. And told Hannibal to do everything in his power to suppress the riots on the 4th floor. Hold on until Magellan arrives. Hannibal, who was ordered to rekindle his fighting spirit. It seems that this warden is not something anyone can do. And at this time, Shiryu of the Rain released to get back his long-lost treasure sword, a thunder cloud. Draw out the treasured sword, all are dazzling red light. Wherever he goes, everything is cut off. At this time, the 4th floor of Impel Down was already in chaos under the leadership of Ivan, Luffy and others. The jailers and the blue orangutans have already rushed to the 4th floor to stop everyone. Coupled with the fact that Sati brought 3 jailer beasts, it seemed even more anxious. Luffy also wanted to go up and fight, but was stopped by Ivan and his men. Don't do anything now, just rush all the way up. But the 3 jailer beasts are not so easy to solve. Although Ivan's men sacrificed their lives to stop them. But the difference is too much. In the end, relying on Luffy, Jinbei, and Crocodile to make a strong debut. With a palm, a punch, and a killing knife, the 3 of them fought back with anger. In an instant, the 3 powerful jailer beasts were completely eliminated. As soon as the jailer beast fell, the prisoner's momentum was greatly lifted. Take the lead, but there is also the jailer chief and a beautiful woman Sati. The beautiful Sati wielding a small leather whip is also quite difficult here. Luffy wanted to step forward, but was caught by Ivan. This Sati is blocked by me. As he spoke, he gave himself a shot of female hormones. Ivan came to a big transformation, this time looks good. Tights versus smoky suits. The battle was too intense. The two moved together, pushing and changing styles. With Ivan's superb acting skills, the ending is self-evident. Ivan blocked Sati, the passage leading to the third floor. Not waiting for everyone to break the door, who knows that the door opened by itself. It turned out that the deputy warden Hannibal finally arrived at the fourth basement floor. Seeing this, Hannibal sucking blood with a double-edged sword on his shoulders. There is quite a feeling that one husband is in charge, and 10,000 people are not open. And command more than 1,000 prison guards here. Fill the channel. This time, even if the population is used to block it, Luffy and others will be blocked here. His righteous belief is to protect the weak people. These criminals must not be allowed to go out and endanger the people. This is the rare serious color of Hannibal. Even the soldiers below are not only in awe. This deputy warden can't be fake, can he? Luffy naturally doesn't want to waste more time. Step forward, a little cold Mang arrives first. This knife is dangerous. Thinking of it, it's not a simple person to be the deputy warden. See this Hannibal spinning. The two-edged sharp knife in the palm of the hand rotates at high speed. Form a scorching circular area of sharp knives, approaching Luffy step by step. The first time was to force Luffy to retreat. But Luffy really wasn't in the mood to continue entanglement with Hannibal. Open the second gear directly. Luffy at this time is not what Hannibal can handle. Hannibal, shot directly by a rubber machine gun, flew out. I'm about to fall to the ground. As the deputy warden, this combat power is a bit too overwhelming. The fallen Hannibal remembered when he first went to work. He is still a fledgling rookie. It is Magellan who has been taking care of him. Imbue him with justice. But this Hannibal is really broken. During a regulatory process, it was easily won by a beautiful pirate with some tricks. Fortunately Magellan arrived just in time. Successfully resolved the matter. There are so many things that Magellan does for him. In the heart of Hannibal, this Magellan is really a good brother. But now the Impel Down riot is like this. This time he's going to stop Luffy no matter what. He couldn't fall for Magellan either. No matter how many attacks by Luffy. Hannibal stood up again and again. Being knocked flying again and rushing to stop Luffy again and again. It was the belief in his heart that supported him. At this time, Blackbeard is facing the empty Impel Down. It was a smooth journey. At this time, Shiryu, the guardian of the Long Reign, came slowly with a large sword in his hand. Glancing at the five Blackbeards, with a chuckle, he was about to draw out his long knife. Magellan poisoned the entire second floor of Impel Down. This sucks our Buggy, been trapped in the prison on the second floor. At this time, Hockey, the lucky color of Buggy, awakens. Plus the rainbow fart that rescued the prisoner. Let Buggy's reputation rise steadily. Has been shaped into a combination of wisdom and courage. Never fear power, but in the face of Magellan's venom blocking the way. You can't rely on rainbow farts. Seeing that when Buggy was angry, he fired a gun at Magellan. The admiration of the younger brothers is like an endless surging river, and like the flood of the Yellow River, out of control. Just like this for 30 minutes. The ink in the stomach has been drained. It's the cultural level that limits the play of Buggy, so I want to take a look at it. Of course, the younger brothers are also dead followers. Buggy is like the stars and the moon is in the C position. Strong people are different, even urinating longer than others. As Buggy and they urinate. The sealed venom is occupied by a black. It is Blackbeard and others who have broken through to this level. And Shiryu, the rain that was ordered to stop Blackbeard, disappeared. After the Buggy people come back conveniently. Seeing that the poison door has been opened. Naturally rejoice, thank the goddess of luck, and hurry up to Yo-Yo. At the same time, Deputy Prosecutor Hannibal is still trying to stop Luffy's footsteps. This time Hannibal thoroughly implements the duties of a prison guard. Never allow these social scumbags to go out and harm society. In the eyes of Hannibal, Luffy and others are the most heinous villains. For world peace, for timid people not to be bullied. Hannibal was still standing, so he would never allow Luffy and others to pass. I can't really say who is right and who is wrong here. It's just that everyone's point of view is different. Ahead, Hannibal bravely stops the jailbreakers. But the rear has changed again. Blackbeard has sucked all those jailer guards into the black hole. Immediately after the shoe size 42 was printed on the big face of Hannibal size 52. Hannibal was forced off the assembly line. Straw Hat Crew confronts Blackbeard. Luffy stared blankly at Blackbeard. It turned out that the two had met before when they were at home. It was on the Whitebeard that he committed the great crime. The man Ace has been looking for to kill his comrade. He was the one who defeated Ace and gave Ace to Marine. Looking at Blackbeard in front of me, Luffy is really angry from the heart. Blackbeard was still taunting everyone. At this time, Blackbeard seemed so confident and leisurely. Also know that Blackbeard's primary goal was to kill Luffy. Then go to Marine in exchange for Shichibukai's name and become famous. Chapter 409, Escape from Impel Down Part 1. After Ace knew what Blackbeard was thinking. Only then did I decide to fight Blackbeard to the end. If Ace hadn't blocked Blackbeard for Luffy, I'm afraid it's Luffy who was killed. After listening to all kinds of things here, Luffy was already furious. Opened the second gear directly. A smooth rubber jet pistol hit Blackbeard hard. This punch relieves the anger. Luffy strikes Blackbeard hard with thunder. Blackbeard grinned in pain as he flew out. Luffy is going to chase after the victory. But this time Blackbeard was on guard. Release black energy. Hold hands. Luffy has been caught in the palm of Blackbeard's hand. Then hit the ground hard. The rubber physique Luffy was smashed to the point of vomiting blood. The pain is unbearable. Luffy, who fled quickly, couldn't believe it. It can be seen that Ace was defeated by Blackbeard in this way. Fruit power was useless in the presence of Blackbeard. Of course Luffy disagrees. Go ahead and continue to attack. Jinbei hurried forward to stop the furious Luffy. Luffy, calm down and think about what's the most important thing right now. 95. There is simply no time to spend here with Blackbeard right now. Some words finally persuaded the impulsive Luffy. Just as the atmosphere eased a little, the rear is turbulent again. Warden Magellan has finally arrived on this floor. 240. No one dared to hesitate any longer. Quickly rushed to the next level. No time to fight Blackbeard this time. But the grievances between the two have been forged. The next time we meet will definitely be an endless game. On the other side, Shiryu of the Rain, who was supposed to stop Blackbeard, swung the butcher's knife at his comrade. Cut off the communication between Impel Down. It seems that he is determined to rebel. Magellan rushed to the fourth basement floor of Impel Down. It was the Blackbeard 5 who were approaching. Magellan had no interest in chatting with Blackbeard at this time. Directly start the poison dragon attack. The venom like the Yellow River rushed to the 5 people. In an instant, the 5 of them took a poisonous bath. And then fell one after another. Magellan wasn't even interested in taking a second look at them. Continue to move forward, looking at Hannibal who was beaten unconscious. Looking at the wounded everywhere. There was a raging fire in my heart. The Straw Hat Boy can take such a heavy poison. And also made this Impel Down like this. This time, I must strangle him with my own hands. Magellan never hesitated again. It turned into a sea of poison and chased after Luffy and others. Magellan's anger turned into a sea of poison and chased after Luffy and others. Like a substantial poison tornado to everyone. No one who comes into contact with Tao is spared. Seeing that those who can leave have already left. Lightning changes into 2 scissors. Cut all the passages from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor, leaving Ivan. Ivan knew he had to stay and stop Magellan. Give Luffy time to escape. Then he turned into a strong man. Just a hellish wink at Magellan. Although a faucet was blown up. But the appearance of the poisonous dragon is endless all the time. This Magellan's strength is truly terrifying. Not for a moment. Magellan's venom had already covered Ivan's entire face. Painful Ivan tried every means to no avail. Magellan was speechless. What the hell was going on? As the Dulong surging ceaselessly, Ivan could only counteract the poison dragon's attack with a hellish wink. This Ivan deserves to be a master of acting. Fancy procrastination gave Magellan a headache. But no matter how much fancy, in the end, it depends on hard power. Ivan took out his boxing technique. Prepare to fight this Magellan to the death. At this time, Lightning was also nervous at the exit on the 2nd floor. Looking at the fluctuations in the ruins, I thought Ivan had withdrawn. But what came out was a venom channel. He knew that Ivan was already in trouble. In anger, cut out the corridor and hit Magellan like a flood. At the same time, Luffy led the escaped army and Buggy's escaped army met. Not waiting for everyone to gossip and gossip, Magellan's voice came from behind again. ACBD, now that Magellan is on this 1st floor, Ivan and Lightning are probably gone. Magellan walked to the crowd step by step. When Luffy watched him come. I understand that Lightning and Ivan are afraid of bad luck. His own savior fell under the poison of Magellan. This time Luffy couldn't take it anymore and was going to kill Magellan. Xiao Feng hurried forward to stop Luffy. Now is not the time to be tempted. Magellan doesn't care so much. A poisonous dragon pounced on the crowd. Venom splashed and exploded. I don't know how many lives this poisonous dragon will take. But with everyone looking up, it was MRE.3 feet S candle pen that blocked the attack of this poisonous dragon. The 3rd brother is also a trustworthy person at the critical moment. The thick candle wall can block the attack of venom. Give everyone a chance to escape. Instruct Jinbei to take a group of prisoners to the main entrance to grab a warship first. And after Luffy saw the 3rd brother's candle, I have an idea in my mind. Then the 3rd brother made a set of candle armor for Luffy. Just enough to isolate direct contact with Magellan's venom. When Luffy saw the armor, I am very grateful to the 3rd brother for making himself so handsome. It's time to do the right thing. Luffy took the lead. First, dexterously evading the attack of the poisonous dragon and getting closer. The rubber champ roundabout hits Magellan. A powerful attack coupled with a spinning force. Overwhelmed Magellan. The younger brothers also fired candle cannonballs one after another. For a while, the guns smoked everywhere. I saw Magellan slowly walk out of the smoke. Luffy doesn't need to give more. Jump up and continue the attack on Magellan. The other side, the people who rushed to the 1st floor successfully solved the guards. But there is still a very serious problem in front of us. There are at least 10 warships outside waiting for them to throw themselves into the net. And their primary goal is to snatch one. But in that case, it can easily become a crisis target for other warships. But it has come to this point. In any case, there is no other way out. Everyone worked together to open the entrance gate of this impel down. When they were caught, it never occurred to me that one day I would be able to leave. Just when everyone was about to rush out and fight hard. The reality made them dumbfounded. There is not a single warship outside this impel down. It turned out that Magellan had already arranged for the warship to leave quickly. Thinking of trapping them on this vast ocean like this. Then solve it slowly. When people are confused, Jinbei pointed to the silhouette of the warship that could barely be seen in the thick fog. The warship has not gone far. I saw Jinbei remove the door panel and carry it to the water's edge. As a murloc, he has to carry a few people to the front to grab a warship and come back. Chapter 410, Escape from Impel Down Part 2. Crocodile and Mr. 1 took the lead. Buggy also automatically asks. Then Jinbei dragged the three and swam towards the warship quickly. The rest of the younger brothers looked at their savior Ba-Ji. In this way, I went forward without hesitation, for admiration. And Buggy also has its own little abacus. In this situation, where is it safe to stay with Shichibukai? If Magellan rushes up, isn't it all over? Luffy has the blessing of the third brother's candle armor. For a while, I can have a 5-5 with Magellan. Magellan was also a little overwhelmed by Luffy's series of attacks. What's going on? I haven't seen each other for a while, I dare to call the sun and the moon to a new sky. Is it because I can't lift the knife, or is this Luffy Piao? At this time, Magellan no longer holds hands. The purple venom that gushed out before now turned into scarlet blood. The whole person is like a messenger crawling out of the sea of blood in hell. At this time, the attack on Luffy's candle armor is no problem. And the scarlet venom spreads so fast. Immediately climb up Luffy's body. The third brother quickly withdrew the candle armor to let Luffy escape. The candle at this time could no longer stop the continuous gushing of scarlet venom. Immediately afterwards, Magellan condensed the gushing venom into itself. The constantly surging venom slowly takes shape. Impressively formed a tens of feet high Susanoo, a poisonous giant. Follow the law. This Susa acted completely in accordance with Magellan's consciousness. Scarlet venom completely refreshed the previous impression of venom. Erosive and highly contagious. Where the poisoned soldiers pass, everything will turn into nothingness. Keep slaughtering the fleeing Luffy and others. At this time, Ivan, who was deeply poisoned, insisted on giving himself a shot. It can be relieved temporarily. With a stupefied Lightning wanted to go and rendezvous with the Straw Hat crew. But he was too tired. But he is a man of miracles. And the Hell Wink, a reverse operation. The two of Ivan and Lightning were directly bounced up. Then break through the ceiling. Come to the door of this impel down. The big head Ivan and the Lightning smoothly joined the group. At the same time, Jinbei dragged Crickdale and the three finally came to the vicinity of the warship. What was greeted was the shelling of the warship. Jinbei dives into the water. The ruined sea current slammed over his shoulder, and actually threw the current directly out. The current swept the door and led the three of them to jump up. On top of miscellaneous warships. The three people who broke into the warship are like tigers entering the flock. And Jinbei in the sea is really a fish into the sea and turned into a dragon. It was as if the entire warship would be sunk with a single blow. Of course, except for Buggy. Because Buggy had passed out when he landed. After a fight, successfully captured the U-turn warship. Then quickly passed the news to Luffy, who is still being chased by Magellan. But now the warship is too far from the door. There's no way to get back right away. But Jinbei told everyone not to stop. Immediately jump into the sea. He has a way to save everyone. Luffy immediately chose to trust Jinbei unconditionally. Magellan watched as Luffy and others were about to jump into the sea and run away. Although I don't believe they really have a way to escape. But still hurried forward to activate Susa to kill everyone. The third brother also hurriedly used the candle wall to temporarily block the invasion of the venom. Luffy no longer hesitates. Decisively opened the third gear power transfer rubber giant legs. The rubber seal is separated by the third brother's candle. After all, he kicked Susa out with one kick. It can be regarded as a temporary relief from the footsteps of poison Susa. But then Susanoo slowly reunited. Coming to be slaughtered again. Little Luffy cried out urgently. Little Ivan, wake up, we're in a hurry. 99. Ivan wants everyone to quickly grab his big face. He was going to take everyone away. At this moment you can see how big Ivan's face is. It can hold more than 200 people at the same time. Wait until the crowd is finished. Poison Susa's big hand will also grab it. In this urgent moment, Ivan, a winning, led the crowd through the impel down gate. Flying out, let the malfeasant Susa catch an empty. But Ivan and the crowd also fell straight into the sea. At a critical moment, a shark swam to the crowd. Ivan took the whale shark called by Jinbei and went down. Everyone escaped the pursuit of Magellan. Through all kinds of hardships and obstacles. Finally broke through Magellan's attack. Sit on the whale shark group called by Jinbei. Arrived successfully on the warship. But the danger is far from over. Without Magellan's pursuit. But there are still more than a dozen warships in crisis. At the same time, there is the gate of justice that only orders can pass. The cannonballs from the rear kept firing at the impassable door of justice ahead. It was only a matter of time before Luffy and their ship were sunk. It's just that Luffy, who was busy blocking the shells at the moment, hadn't noticed that their team was missing a person. At this very critical moment, Zero. Ask for flowers. The thick door of justice opened. Luffy and others are naturally overjoyed. Magellan, who was about to board the warship to pursue Luffy, was surprised to see that the door of justice had been opened. What was the situation? The motivation to rush to impel down is to run. And the impetus at the moment is that there is a Magellan calling the shots. Open the door of justice and let that warship pass by. Because Magellan's heroic character image has been engraved in every guard's heart. There was no hesitation at all about Magellan's order. Open the door of justice. Luffy also learned the truth about the opening of the door of justice from Jinbei's mouth. It was Xiao Feng who became Magellan. Deception opens the door to justice. Look at Luffy, they are about to pass the gate of justice. The real Magellan also made it to the powerhouse. Point 0. A Magellan ordered to close the gate quickly. Another Magellan commanded not to close. The two of you speak to me. Confused the guards. Finally, in a panic, I pressed the close button. Then Xiao Feng kicked it badly, thus closing the door of justice. No other warship can catch up with the Straw Hat crew. Xiao Feng is ready to sacrifice himself in exchange for everyone's survival. But Luffy couldn't watch and abandoned Xiao Feng and escaped alone. How can I be worthy of Xiao Feng, a partner who has been helping him all the time? Jinbei picked up Luffy and said, do you know how many partners we sacrificed along the way to escape from prison? Someone must stand up then. Said and took out the phone bug. Started the last call with Xiao Feng. Hear Luffy cry out eagerly. Xiao Fengbin didn't want to talk, not wanting to make Luffy worried. This is not the first time Xiao Feng sacrificed himself to rescue Straw Hat crew. Alabasta once. I don't know how many times Xiao Feng rescued Luffy from the fire and water in Impel Down. Xiao Feng just listened to Luffy's shout again and again. The warship is about to escape the gate of justice. 1,000 words came back to Luffy's mouth. Just keep thank you, thank you. The phone worm hangs up, the door of justice closes. You must get your brother out, you can definitely do it. Xiao Feng finally did not respond. Xiao Feng was left in this Impel Down forever. Even if Luffy kept shouting. Magellan's ruthless big hand waved to Xiao Fengchang. At this time, Xiao Feng could no longer hold back the obsession in his heart. Until the signal is about to be interrupted. Chapter 411 Buggy. This B************** D is so strong. Under Xiao Feng's desperate cover, everyone at last drive safely out of the gate of justice. Everyone is still distressed that Xiaopeng Zhongdaji has been drunk. Have a good time. Quan Dang held a funeral banquet for Xiao Feng. Isn't this looking for a fight? Luffy and Buggy, the happy friends, temporarily dilute the sadness in everyone's heart. When everyone who successfully escaped Impel Down learned that the warship was heading for Marine headquarters. Buggy and others were so frightened that their throat teeth were separated on the spot. The key is that the warships by the sea can only go to the Marine headquarters. Buggy and the prisoners quit on the spot. Finally escaped Impel Down. Really don't want to get involved in the terrifying fight between Marine and Whitebeard. At this time, the telephone bug on the warship rang. Not answering the phone is not Luffy's style. Picked up on the spot. Self-declared my name is Luffy and there is news from Marine. The main criminals who planned the Impel Down escape in these 240 times were mainly two people. One is Straw Hat Luffy. One is the pirate clown Buggy. At the same time, I also learned about Buggy's shocking life experience. The clown Buggy turned out to be the crew member of the original One Piece Roger ship. At the same time, and the Four Emperors red-haired Shanks Brotherhood. Also has a good relationship with Fire Fist Ace. It's conceivable that Buggy's purpose is to save Ace like Luffy. And a man with such a shocking experience is so low-key. Today finally revealed the true strength. Plan this Impel Down jailbreak event. Make Marine take it seriously. Although there are two Shichibukai on the warship. But it's nothing compared to the Buggy name. Marine finished warning. The people said nothing, but the prisoners who escaped with Buggy boiled over. Unexpectedly, the Buggy god tier is hidden so deeply. He must be a strong, super awesome pirate. Plus Luffy did hear Rayleigh mention Buggy at the time. It pushed Buggy's reputation to the top. Surrounded by prisoners and shouting Buggy's name. At this time, Buggy was panicking in his heart. This is a terrible reputation. It's okay to be taken care of by Marine. Isn't this killing it? But on second thought, since Marine lifted himself so high. So just take advantage of this wave of momentum. Maybe I'll be lucky by then. Whitebeard. Take his head, then you will become the Four Emperors. If you put more effort into One Piece, it won't be a problem. Isn't that the pinnacle of life? Good way, just do it. At this time, with the support of the god tier Buggy. The prisoners felt they were okay again. Gotta get the guys to clean up Luffy, Jinbei, Laosha and the others. Snatched the warship and hurried away. The sense of accomplishment of this mountain and tsunami made Buggy a little floating. Immediately boarded the bow. Gave an exciting speech. The apex of the world is already within our reach. I'm going to take the head of Whitebeard. Take the world in your pocket. If it's a man, come with me to realize your dream. At this moment, Buggy has grown up. The holy light around is so dazzling. As expected of the crew of the One Piece ship, a speech made the prisoners cry. It's wonderful to have everyone marching together towards Marine headquarters. The Impel Down jailbreak event has come to an end. The warship officially goes to Marine headquarters. The sea breeze blows, Luffy on the bow is worried about his brother Ace. And thoughts of my friends. If only Nami, Zoro and the others were here. Let's put our perspective on Nami on the small sky island Visalia. It's really a comfortable climate here. According to the little old man. This small sky island is slowly drifting towards Sabayati archipelago. It's just a little slow. Nami hurriedly asked if there was a quick way to get there. The little old man thought about it. Research funding is running out. Time to go down below and earn some extra cash. This small sky island has a climate car dedicated to the ground. Leaving Sky Island, falling down little by little. Below is a barren land. Looks unusually dry. It looks like it hasn't rained for a long time. The way the little old man makes money is to let them pay. It will cost 100 million to open your mouth when it rains. This price is really a direct persuasion. I thought about it. 100 million is too expensive, then 100 Baileys. Really a kind little old man. The next step is to mess with the machine. One after another thunderclouds drifted out, and with fungi knots. Make the thunderclouds gather together, forming large thundercumulus clouds. It rained heavily in no time. Long drought meets nectar. The villagers had happy smiles on their faces. Instantly made them feel that this climate science can really help everyone. I just want to learn meteorological science with the little old man. Just drift back slowly. Find Franky in the office. It was reading the newspaper and drinking tea all day. With the appearance of a gentleman, the little boy was in a hurry. Uncle Pervert, when are you coming back? Just throwing Franky in the wild will awaken Franky's wildness. Isn't this a bear boy? And left Franky in this forest full of modified animals. And Franky didn't panic at all. Let's have a cup of black tea first. Anyway, the little boy who had been peeping in the back was discovered. Franky can't ignore it, but Franky in the gentleman state didn't fight back at all. Just the hairstyle must not be messy. When being madly abused by the transformation star. The body just produces a lot of steam. Made Franky stand up straight again. It's really hard, just speak with strength. This group of modified animals is not enough. Franky played 3 to 5 and 2 to 1. Wild Return is still the familiar pervert. But immediately paralyzed. This fight is really useless. The little boy remembered that there was a Vegapunk base in this forest. He is a genius scientist. All the animals in the forest were transformed by him. It's just that he left for no apparent reason. Maybe he could help Franky, so he came to Vegapunk's base. For Franky, this is really a great creation. In North Blue, an island where birds rule humans. The war between humans and birds 1.3 is constantly. And Chopper accidentally lost the baby of a giant bird. Although it is a cub, it's not that big either. Fantasizing that when he grows up, he can send himself back to the Sabayati archipelago. A deer and a bird, eating and sleeping together, are harmonious. It was only discovered by a savage during a trip. Arrest them to make hot pot without saying a word. A deer and a bird forced to the cliff. Fortunately, the big bird came in time. Really become a hot pot. Chopper also wanted to go up and climb relatives with Big Bird. But he was caught in the mouth again. Anyhow. And saved your baby. How can it be like this? Also, what the hell is this place? Robin in North Blue was tortured for scolding words and deeds. The defenders here would also hand him over to the Marine government in exchange for status. All these officers and soldiers blew their lamps and pulled out wax. Chapter 412. The Dingshan War is about to break out. In this country that has always been enslaved, there was no sense of freedom and peace at all. The imprisoned Robin has been worrying about his friends. He must find a way to get back to his partner, even cutting off his own hands. At this moment, the old man next to him suddenly said, "Don't worry, the Horn of Freedom will be remembered soon." Saying that, an explosion suddenly sounded outside. Immediately afterwards, an officer and soldier broke in with the little girl who had rescued Robin. It turned out that he was a soldier of the Revolutionary Army. Came to rescue this old man. He also saved Robin by the way. And the officers and soldiers outside also responded quickly. Directly surrounded the prison tower. See the goal open. Shoot without saying a word. But no matter how fast they are. Not as fast as Robin's flower fruit ability. With a crisp clicking sound. All these officers and soldiers were brought down. Luffy Jinbei and his group are still driving towards Marine headquarters in Marin. At this time, there are still 3 hours before Ace's execution. Universal transmission. All forces are paying attention to this battle that is about to explode. Anyone who knows Whitebeard knows he'll be there. The execution attracted worldwide attention. And Marine has relocated all the restless residents of Marin. People go to the city empty. People follow the real-time progress of the public prototype through the large screen of the refuge Sabayati archipelago. There are also journalists and photographers from all over the world who promise to deliver the latest information on the war to the world as soon as possible. The surveillance ships sent by Marine have been wiped out by Whitebeard. No idea when Whitebeard will show up or attack. So the tension that pervades Marlene. The more and more intense morning is gradually approaching the end of his life. The road is dark and long. Marine headquarters in the many ports of Marine. General Marine stands ready. Marine warships lined up. To deal with this war that may break out at any time. Thousands of Marines are doing their final mobilization. The crowd was furious and vowed to defend Marine headquarters to the death. Marin's many ports, 50 warships surround the mouth of Crescent Bay and the entire island. The shore is covered with numerous heavy artillery. Viewed from outside the port, it is the 7 warlords of the sea who are at the forefront of the army. Under the execution stand is the Marine headquarters who is the strongest. 3 Marine Admiral, this is all the righteous forces of Marine at present. Just to stop Whitebeard from robbing Ace. At the same time, it is also to wait for the arrival of the Whitebeard pirates. There are times when the road of presence comes to an end. Ace is going to board this Xingtai. Then fell to his knees. Detained in this row of Xingtai. Looking at Marine down the mountain and tsunami. 2 beheading swords stand in front. Just like Roger back then. Then Marshal Marine Sengoku stepped forward. Take the phone, Bug. He's going to announce something big about Ace. It is the significance that Ace must be executed today. Portgas. D. Ace. His mother, Portgas D. Lu Ju, wanted to give birth to Ace. Forcing the child to stay in Fuzhou for 20 months. Just to avoid Marine's investigation. Finally, at the same time as Ace was born. Exhausted, he died on the spot. And his father died a year and 3 months before he was born. And Ace is the boy who inherited the blood of the devil. I can't help but feel sad when I hear Garp here under the execution stand. Back then, the old friend of Roger, who was also an enemy and a friend, was still in his ears. Now that child is above Xingtai. And you can't do anything yourself. At this time Sengoku announced to the world. Ace, his father is, One Piece Gal. D. Roger. 39. When Sengoku finished saying that Ace is the bloodline of One Piece Roger. The whole world is quiet. Everyone can't believe that the biggest villain in the world has such a big son. You must know that it was to prevent the world from having Roger's blood. He wiped out all the 10-month-old babies, including pregnant women, before and after Roger's arrest. This is their marine justice. But why did Ace survive? This is about the great mother of Ace, Portgas. D. Road 9. He was pregnant with Ace for more than 20 months. After the storm passed, he gave birth to Ace and then passed away. It was Garp who took the little Ace. Apparently it's a bit difficult for a rough-hewn gentleman to raise children. I handed it over to a group of bandits, Dayton, to raise it. When Luffy grows up a bit, also taken there by Garp to grow up with Ace. And just 2 years ago, Ace sailed the sea in his mother's name. With a good record, soon he made a name for himself. And soon formed the Spade Pirates. For a while, the limelight was in full swing. That's when he was targeted by Marine. It was soon discovered that this Ace turned out to be Roger's son. Whitebeard, who noticed this at the same time as Marine, protected Ace first. Let the son who was once his opponent get on board. And train him as the next generation of One Piece. Poor Ace has always thought that Whitebeard and the others met by chance. He also supported Whitebeard to become the pirate king only on the ship. Ace is too young after all, if it weren't for Whitebeard's protection. Marine had already shot at Ace. It's Whitebeard who has been protecting Ace. So today the head of Ace must be taken off again. Let One Piece's blood be completely cut off. For this reason, even if it is a full-scale war with the Whitebeard pirates. Please boil all the Marines here again. To be able to participate in the battle of such legendary characters. Really looking forward to it. Let the bloodline of One Piece be wiped out again. Right at this moment, reported by Marine, the door of justice opens for no reason. Sengoku was startled again. At the same time, Luffy and others, who were isolated outside the door of justice in 240, also found the door opened. Buggy will naturally not miss this opportunity to show his face. Take the credit directly on yourself. But the most important thing now is to rush over. At this time, there were many Marlins. The whole port is surprisingly quiet. It's so quiet that it's a little hairy. Like the calm before the storm. Marine stepped up his guard, didn't wait long. A dozen pirate ships appeared from far away in the sea. Staggered distribution, not the same. After a closer look, they are all famous in New World for a long time. The pirate leader of Megatron. There are as many as 43 ships in total. But Whitebeard and his captains were nowhere to be seen. The pirate ship slowly approached the port. At this moment, there was a sudden upheaval inside and outside the port. Swaying layers of ripples. Only then did Sengoku react. Whitebeard's pirate ships come directly from the bottom of the sea after being coated. Really a big show. I saw a huge ship leap out from the bottom of the sea. It was Whitebeard's Moby DK that brought the ship to a halt. Immediately after, 1, 2, and 3 ships were parked on the sea both inside and outside. All 14 captains of the Whitebeard pirates are here. Arranged in order. Immediately afterwards, the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard, boarded the bow. Facing the full force of Marine. He came to rescue his son. Ace, wait a while, Daddy will pick you up. Chapter 413 The Outbreak of the Top War, The Invincible Whitebeard. Ace kneels on the execution platform. Watching Whitebeard bring the whole crew to save himself. Feelings of remorse welled up in my heart. See Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, on the boat. Put down the cloud cut, the double master fist stand in front of the chest. The cloak on the back rattled. Immediately after that, he clenched his fists violently. The void next to it is shattered. Immediately afterwards, the four seas swelled, and the huge waves hundreds of feet high seemed to overturn the whole world. This Whitebeard's sea vibrates with just one punch. Is this the strength of the strongest man? Ace on the execution platform couldn't help but fell into contemplation as he watched the old man Whitebeard burst out with such power. When Ace was 17 years old, he said goodbye to Luffy and went to sea. Established the Spade Pirates, with their own general partners. Ace, who was a super rookie at the time, immediately caught the attention of Marine and Whitebeard. Marine also threw an olive branch to Ace. Let him be Shichibukai. But Whitebeard has always been worried about this fledgling newcomer. As a rookie, Ace has passed the test all the way. He also stopped by Shanks, Luffy's benefactor. Ace, who also aimed at One Piece, naturally hit the Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world. In order to prove that I am the strongest, I have to defeat Whitebeard. Remove his head. So I didn't find Whitebeard, but found Jinbei. Jinbei out of Whitebeard's kindness. I took up the challenge of Ace. That battle was fought for 5 days and 5 nights, with no winner or loser. In the end, both of them fell to the ground with exhaustion. Then Whitebeard's warship appeared, to play with Ace. All the members of the Spade Pirates, who were swept away by their momentum, flew. Ace a look. Quickly activate the internet to isolate Whitebeard and the players. Left alone to fight Whitebeard to give teammates a chance to escape. It's just that his arrogance is not proportional to Whitebeard's combat power. In the blink of an eye, it was defeated. Whitebeard looked at the stubborn little devil in front of him. Not only have some talent, I also remember the previous ones. If you haven't had enough trouble, just use my name to make a fuss on this sea. After speaking, he extended his big hand to Ace. Be my son. When Ace wakes up again, already on Whitebeard's ship. The captain of the 4th team, Sachi, came to say hello. Already have Ace as a partner. Watching the sleeping Whitebeard at night. Ace's little Juju appeared again. But there are no exceptions. The sleeping king is still king. From then on Whitebeard's ship has a man who assassinated Whitebeard. No suspense. Ace has been knocked back more than 100 times in a row. The little brother came up in time to send warmth. The people on this ship are people who have been abandoned by this world. It was Whitebeard who provided them with a warm home. Treat them like their own children. Such a heavy kindness cannot be repaid. Brother Ma's words hit Ace's heart. He was also abandoned by this world. I understand this feeling. In the end, Ace also became a member of the Whitebeard Pirates. Bearing the name of Whitebeard. And to list it as the captain of the 2nd round. Blackbeard, who was a veteran at the time, didn't have any opinion. Of course Blackbeard's ambitions are not here either. But Ace still has her own knot. He is Roger's son. Is the son of Whitebeard's enemies. I don't know if Whitebeard will feel bad about it. He still underestimated Whitebeard's mind. All who are born are children of the sea. What does that matter? In the unintentional Ace became the 2nd captain of the Whitebeard Pirates. Everything here is the life that Ace yearns for. Ride freely with your friends in this free sea. But all this has changed. It ended when Team 4 Captain Thatch got the devil fruit. When Blackbeard saw the devil fruit, in his eyes there was shock, ecstasy, and a hint of wickedness. Blackbeard he finally showed his fangs. He killed Saki that night, robbed devil fruit and escaped. Ace, who found out about this, couldn't stand Blackbeard's act of mutilating his comrade for a fruit. Vowed to avenge Sake. At this time, Whitebeard had an ominous feeling in his heart. Forget it. Don't chase it. This is a special case. But how could Ace give up? He would never allow Whitebeard's reputation to be damaged by this. Be sure to get Blackbeard back and let Whitebeard deal with it. After that, everyone did not stop Ace. Let Ace embark on this road of no return. Come back to your senses and look at the various things at the moment. Father Whitebeard and his friends are in danger to save themselves. It really made Ace feel extremely guilty. And Whitebeard said, I let you go, son. Ace blamed himself for putting the entire team in danger because of his own willfulness. By this time, Whitebeard also speaks for Ace. I let Ace go by myself, and the partners also drink and agree with each other. Ace looked at the shouts of the distant comrades and the tsunami. He knew that his companion had never abandoned him. He still has such a group of relatives in this world. The damned comradeship made all 3 admiral look at him. The sea was not calm at this time. Some marines noticed that the sea level was dropping rapidly. At the same time, the Straw Hat crew in the distance felt unprecedented resistance. The whole sea is centered on the abundance of marline. The sea is constantly receding. Then the sea water poured back. The sea level rose rapidly again. The entire marine produces a lot of chirping. It was Whitebeard's blow just now that caused the sea tremor. Make the sea flow backwards. A tsunami with a height of hundreds of meters was formed. There are huge waves on both sides of Ma Lin, as if to flood the entire marine headquarters. The waves that cover the sky and the sun are about to come, and the water will flood the Marlins. The 3 admiral who lived in the middle were not panic at all. I saw Aokiji leap into the sky with a jump. The 2 fingers turned into freezing points and whistled towards the sea on both sides, did it. The turbulent sea water just now froze into solid ice in an instant. It is Aokiji's signature move, Ice Age. It's not over yet. I saw 3 ice spears around Aokiji and shot at Whitebeard. Whitebeard just punched out of thin air. Don't say it's hail bursting. Even Aokiji itself was shaken into a pile of crushed ice and fell down. The light Aokiji that fell into the water melted into ice. At the same time, the sea surface in the bay froze. In an instant, the entire port of Marlene has become a world of ice and snow. Facing Marines shelling, pirates no longer wait. It's the first wave. With Marines vanguard, the personnel on both sides used various means to fight left and right. The 5 Marine Vice Admiral temporarily acted as the first line of defense. Those who can become Vice Admiral are not ordinary people. Coordinators from outside the bay also arrived at the battle one after another. Fight with the nearest Marine. Chapter 414 Whitebeard, more than one person is fighting. See how anxious the battle is. Hawkeye stood up. As the most powerful swordsman in the world, he wanted to see how far he was from Whitebeard. At the same time, there is also a person on Whitebeard's side who has long wanted to try Hawkeye's black knife. I saw Hawkeye slowly draw out the black knife, one of his 12th Palace Supreme knives. The knight was a volley blow. The unmatched tyrannical sword energy burst out of the air. Take the Whitebeard aboard the Moby DK. But see Whitebeard not dodging, not dodging. Without changing his face, he sat firmly on the high platform. A figure came quickly, with the flesh to block the world's first slash. I saw this figure use his hands hard. It is the tyrannical sword energy of Jiangsu and Zhejiang thrown into the air. And the person who blocked the call was Whitebeard, who sat down with the captain of the third team, Diamond Yoja. Hawkeye saw that he was stopped by Diamond Yoja with a flat A, and took back the black knife. I don't know if there will be a result between the strongest sword and the strongest spear today. Now is not the time to be stunned. The two sides continued to fight together. Sengoku on the execution stand saw both sides clashing head-on. Command the artillery unit to target the pirate ship. Including cooperating with pirates to launch shelling. At the same time, the frontline soldiers must completely prevent the pirates from entering the square. The entire battlefield intensified and became chaotic. Kizaru looked at the situation almost. It's time to go up and play a wave. Otherwise, I can't get the salary of 240 today. A flash of 8-foot mirror appeared directly in front of Whitebeard. Orchid pointing light in both hands. 8-foot Chongguang Jade sprinkles Whitebeard like starlight in the sky. Whitebeard also did not move at all. I saw a man fly out from the flank. Take this Admiral Kizaru's attack in full. The sudden attack seemed to crush the figure. But after the attack, this man was surrounded by blue regenerated flames. This person is Marco the Phoenix, the captain of the first team of the Whitebeard pirates. Is an extremely rare zone phantom species. I saw Marco turned into a flying phoenix. Facing Kizaru's full screen AoE. Do not dodge, do not evade and fly to the front. A volley whips the legs like Kizaru smashes. Yo yo. Not waiting for Huang Yuan's mouth cannon to finish. He was kicked directly into the Marine City wall by this whip leg. This year's Oscar will be awarded to Kizaru. But this Marco's strength is really terrifying. At this time, the Marine giant army couldn't bear it anymore and went forward to fight. Diamond Yoja took the lead and stepped forward. One-handed brother drew a circle on the ice. Afterwards, a large lump of solid ice was cut out abruptly. Lean back with a cannon, and this ACBD, sentence-type vanguard is calling at Marine. If this is true, I am afraid that it will directly destroy the entire internal and external masterpiece. The pledge right in the middle didn't feel that it was time for him to appear when he raised his head. I also complained about Aokiji and Kizaru along the way. I know you are actors. If they all go out, who will guard here? Saying that, hot lava poured out of his right arm. Facing the attacking giant Rongjiang City. Punching and breathing fire, hitting directly at the raised soldiers. A tyrannical attack coupled with hot lava. This family alone will smash their troops to pieces. All evaporated, nothing left. The Longjong camera pirates that burst out at the same time. Its power is much greater than that of a cannonball. The falling meteor looks like the end of the world. Wherever he goes, there are all the bosom friends of the wolf. And it is to directly destroy the deputy captain of the Whitebeard pirates. At the same time, a big Rongjong also hit Father Whitebeard. With a light blow with a knife, the burning lava was blown out directly. The big lava hit Whitebeard. Whitebeard struck with the knife. The two of them were talking each other. The personnel from both sides fought back and forth, and it was very lively. After all, this is Marine's home game. The heavy artillery kept firing, threatening the survival of the pirates. Fortunately, the pirates are all heroic Shaozan. With a tyrannical roll of 1 enemy and 100. For a while it was still in a stalemate. It looks like this is a protracted battle. The wanton slaughter on the battlefield, not only heroic soldiers. And the coward who has been frightened with weak legs. Kobe is one of them. The rookie navy who had never participated in such a battle was frightened by the cruelty of the battlefield in front of him, his hands and feet trembled. War is undoubtedly cruel, it even scared Bailu Mabel's courage. No, let's run first. This is not something we can deal with at all. But the battlefield simply does not give anyone a chance to think. I saw a huge figure looming out of the sea, much larger than a marine warship. Its huge stature is simply refreshing people's cognition of giants. This figure is considered a giant among giants. And thick skin. Despite the bombardment still unscathed. Holding a giant blade. With one split, the fort and warships were all cut into 2 pieces. See this huge guy. Moonlight Moria got excited first. Isn't this Oz's descendant? Just having him can make another powerful zombie. Ace on the execution platform looked at the huge figure. Call out the big guy's name. It's also Little Oz, and Little Oz has only one goal. That is to go to Ace's side. This huge body gave Marine a huge sense of pressure. Let ordinary people only look back. Marine uses giants to subdue giants. Giants strike, but in terms of size, he is nothing compared to the Little Oz. I saw Little Oz hard hitting the artillery. Forcibly pulled the warship out of the ice. Smashed directly at the giants that rushed towards him. Even the walls inside the bend are broken. Lead the crowd to rush to the inside of the bend. This blood-stained battlefield once again hit Kirby's nerves. In the face of pirates, the instinct to fight back has been lost, and it is 1,000 people. Especially Mora Rear Admiral came to the rescue. Not only Hezuki, but Kirby was the battlefield here. If you are not ready to fight, leave now. Don't get in the way of others here. We don't have any spare time to teach you how to do it slowly. It is really sad for his misfortune, and his anger is indisputable. But the pace of war will not change with Kobe's consciousness. Little Oz is still walking towards Ace step by step. Little Oz's huge figure walked towards Ace step by step. Also because of its huge size. Very easy to be targeted by Marines. Whitebeard hurriedly asked his men to cover Ace and smooth the way to the square. Oz, who is also a giant, really has overwhelming power in front of other giants. Marine's army of giants was simply not enough in his eyes. I'm about to go to the square. Storm Coon Bear moved. Still the same trick. The hands keep compressing the air. Create a huge air bomb that is slowly shrinking. The power of its explosion increases exponentially. In the end, he put it in the palm of his hand and threw it to Little Oz. An inconspicuous bear's paw blast exploded in front of Little Oz's chest. Directly through the back of the neck. It exploded with Little Oz at the center. This damage directly breaks through the ceiling. Even Little Oz's huge body could hardly hold it. The hurricane formed by its explosion overturned the entire battlefield. Together with Little Oz's straw hat, it fell off. Chapter 415. The Giant Oz Sacrifice, Luffy falls from the sky. Little Oz, who was hit by this blow, fell to his knees weakly. Ace looked at the giant in front of him, shouting, "No, it's enough, it's all right, give it up, please." 99. But Oz, who fell to the ground, glanced at the straw hat. This is what Ace gave to himself for fear of being hot. Little Oz, who has never felt the warmth, was the first time someone cared about him. Ace gave himself the warmth like sunshine. This time Ace is imprisoned. Save Ace no matter what. Continue to move firmly towards Ace. But Xiao Oz, who has been hit hard, coupled with the non-stop fire of the Marine heavy artillery. Even the reinforced iron bones can't hold it a bit. Looking at Ace getting closer. Little Oz is going to fall at last. But he has to kill at least one Shichibukai before he falls. He's targeting Doflamingo. The huge fist smashed at Brother Ming with a posture of pressing the top of Mount Tai. Directly penetrated the square wall. Brother Ming jumped up in a dashing manner, moving his fingers lightly. With maddened laughter, when Brother Ming landed, he had already cut off one of Oz's legs. This Doflamingo is so strong. Little Oz, who lost his right leg, knelt on the ground. Glancing at Ace, crawling and crawling. I want to try harder, can I save Ace? Even one step further. Gecko Moria below is not idle either. Shadow Mage, Shadow Bats converge into a spear. Directly through the body of Little Oz. He also wanted to try harder and get closer to Ace. In the past, the love that was given to the grass, is now repaid with life. Little Oz was attacked by the 3 Shichibukai. Already crumbling. At this last moment, I was thinking of saving Ace. Ace looked at Little Oz who was close at hand. A sense of grief welled up in my heart. A little closer, a little closer. Finally exhausted the last ounce of strength. Little Oz fell down. Stay on this battlefield forever. Whitebeard looked at the road that Oz opened with his body. A trace of anger crept up Whitebeard's face. At this moment of grief. A marine giant, Vice Admiral, came with an axe. Thought he had caught Whitebeard's flaw. I saw my father blocking the giant axe with one hand. With a sudden force, the great axe shattered. Then the big hand grabbed the giant Vice Admiral. Under the grip of anger. Directly to the ground. Without hesitation, the ability to vibrate the fruit in the hand directly hit the head in the middle. Even the helmet exploded. Then throw it away. It's like throwing away a piece of trash. The strongest man Whitebeard's dignity cannot be violated. Look at Little Oz again. Commanded, let's march on Oz's body. The pirates marched together. Ozzy cannot be sacrificed in vain. Step on Oz's body and jump into the bay. The war resumes, the marine pirates continue to fight. Kobe can no longer resist his inner fear. I ran away secretly, but suddenly heard Akainu's voice. It turned out that it was not only Kobe and the other who wanted to escape. The escaped person in front of him is being caught by Akainu. Seeing such a cowardly person, Akainu's face turned black. We marine are carrying the justice of the world and fighting against pirates. The guy who leaves his back to the enemy to escape is not fit to be a marine. Such people are trash. Quote. Speaking of the magma emerging. I don't need waste here. Akainu's Bryant and Bryant were surprised by such means. It took a moment to see the figure of that person. At this time another marine came to report. Said the battle plan was ready. Can be implemented. At this time, marine on the battlefield received news at the same time. A sense of conspiracy wafts across the battlefield. The coordinated pirates of the appearance also directly broke through the city wall. Plunge into the inward bend and take part in the battle. Buffalo Atmos, captain of the 13th team of Minko manipulators. Slashed left and right by Ming Ji's manipulator. Kill your comrades. And there was nothing he could do. Brother Ming frantically expresses his views. Marine is good, pirate is evil. This view has been overturned countless times. Only those who stand at the top can define good and evil. And justice will prevail, because the winning side is justice, and it has nothing to do with good or evil. The battle on the battlefield became more and more fierce. At this time, Marine conveyed an order at the same time. Immediately execute Fire Fist, Ace. 35. Garp under the execution platform also received the news. At that moment, he seemed to hear Ace's cry when he was a child. As if returning to the anxiety when I first picked up Ace. Recalling the first time Ace fell asleep peacefully in his arms. And the baby in my arms. Now he is being held on the execution platform. The stairs in front of you are so close, yet so far away. As far as possible, and Ace will soon be separated. 0 katakana middle. Ask for flowers. Walk to the execution platform and come to Ace's side. In the face of Sengoku's doubts, Garp is still so righteous. The opponent is a pirate, not worthy of sympathy. After speaking, he sat down and sat beside Ace. Ace, Luffy grew up under the iron fist of Garp's love. In particular, the two brothers' desire to be pirates since childhood made Garp one of the first and too big. The extra large meal is also taught by Garp, in addition to eating and sleeping. It's basically a mold, and now Ace is tied to his side. Will be executed soon. This old man over 50 years old faces his grandson who is about to be executed. Looking so bewildered. Yes, bad guys deserve no sympathy. But the family is different. If Ace can become Marine. Point 0. Garp will desperately save Ace. It's just that Garp's burden of justice is too heavy. Ace looked at the grandfather who had always been known for being tough. Tears are streaming down my face now, thinking of the entrustment he once made to become Marine himself. My heart is also mixed with 5 flavors. It's just that there isn't much time left for them to grieve. I saw a huge ship suddenly appear in the sky. Countless figures fell from the sky. With the sound of fright. There was a loud bang in the sky. Luffy came on. The warship fell into the big hole that George had dug before. Everyone was in shock. Successfully came to this battlefield. Looking around looking for the figure of Ace. Everywhere you see are marine pirates fighting each other. After many searches, finally saw Ace tied to the execution stand on a commanding height. Fortunately it's not too late. Everything is still in time. Hear Ace's call. Luffy calmed down a little. It's time to stand up with everyone. Also shocked Garp was stunned. Neither of the two brothers was relieved. Look at the crowd brought by Luffy. Crocodile, Laosha, Revolutionary Army, Ivankov, Shichibukai Jinbei, Buggy God Tier, and criminals in Impel Down. It is a great help for the battlefield. Everyone was inexplicable when they looked at the combination of straw hats. There are prisoners, by the Revolutionary Army, there are pirates, and there are former Shichibukai. How did such a group of people get together? Akainu muttered to himself as he looked at the people who suddenly appeared. The grandson of the hero Garp, the son of the Revolutionary Dragon. Factory. Chapter 416 Luffy makes a scene on the battlefield, and Buggy starts to load 13. Luffy and everyone came to this battlefield to make a scene. But Lao Sha aimed at Whitebeard. The iron and gold hooks have gone to Whitebeard. Just about to hit Whitebeard. I saw Luffy stepped forward to block Lao Sha. Lao Sha glanced at Luffy. Drenched in water. It seems that Luffy is already ready to fight Lao Sha. Whitebeard turned to look at Luffy's straw hat. Understand that Shanks once walked in the arms of the new age. Also know that he is Ace's younger brother. Whitebeard slammed like a giant in front of Luffy. Do you know who the enemy is? It's going to die like you. But who knew Luffy's temper was even more grumpy? The people who dare to be tough Whitebeard not only make everyone sweat. Whitebeard looked at the arrogant kid in front of him. If you hold back, I can't spare you. 240. 9. There was a little more affirmation of Luffy in his eyes. Saying that, Luffy is about to rush towards Ace. The pirates looked at Luffy's energy and momentum. Whitebeard also got the news that Ace will be executed early. But there was no panic. Because he knew that the information was disclosed to them in Sengoku's material. There must be fraud. This war is not only about brute force, but also about strategic confrontation. Luffy ran all the way to Ace. Admiral Kizaru appeared in time to deal with Luffy with Flash. It's just that Luffy has no fear at this moment. All the way straight to Ivan to see. Hell Wink quickly bounces Luffy away. Escape from Huang Yuan. But at this time, a yellow beam of light flashed on the city wall. Is it Kizaru again? Looking up, it's a bear. In the face of violent Kun bears keep shooting. Ivan hurriedly dodged. An angry voice. Bao Kun Bear, are you crazy? Even if you have Shichibukai's position now, you will kill your friends directly. And the Storm Kun Bear didn't want to do anything with Ivan at all. It's in a hurry to explode the light again. And Ivan let Luffy go first. This violent Kun Bear was blocked by him. Luffy continued to charge forward. Met old friends Tekken and Hypnosis again. But Luffy is completely unimpressed. I don't want to waste time on them. Quote. But who knew they were joking? The kick from the back kicked something useless. Hina is naturally not a rookie. It's the one who has the ability to stop the fruit. After being able to pass through the body of others with arms outstretched over the railing. Will leave iron bars to imprison him. Trying to tie Luffy up with both hands. But he ignored Luffy's lack of speed and jumping ability. A height of 2 meters, isn't that just jumping out? At this time, the fighting outside the bay intensified. The pirates have swept the marine out of the bend. The big vortex spider Scuvaro is planning to attack the inner bend. Relieve the pressure of piers inside. At this time, a figure came up. The road to rescue Ace is not easy. Besieged by many marines. And these are not the unknown soldiers from before. Each has a unique skill. Clinging to Luffy, preventing him from moving forward. Moria looked down at Luffy. Not to be lonely, I want to cut Luffy's shadow again and pour it into Little Oz's body. Then summon zombies to stop Luffy. Makes it harder for Luffy to move forward. Ace on the execution platform watched Luffy work so hard to save himself. Really unbearable. Stop it, Luffy, that's enough. I have my adventures, I have my companions, you have no reason to care about me. If you are saved by a coward like you, what's more shameful? Hurry up, go back. Don't come, please, really don't come here. But how could Luffy listen to what he said? I am your brother. A word hit Ace's heart. They are brothers who drank sworn wine together. So Luffy has to save Ace even if he dies. As for pirates, what are the rules and what can be controlled so much? At this time, Luffy just wanted to save Ace. The zombie soldiers ran out again to cause chaos, the sea. The water came, and the zombie fell to the ground. Jinbei came here and blocked Moria to smooth the way for Luffy. A marine giant came again to do his bidding. It's just a slap in the face of Luffy. Sengoku also announced Luffy's life experience at this time. She is Ace's sworn brother. The son of the revolutionary Long, really has a great background. Now dealing with Luffy, the marines even more. And Luffy directly opened 3 dozen rubber giant cyclotron bombs. In the middle of the giant's face, the giant directly blows the lamp and pulls out the wax. Luffy is determined to save Ace. Thanks to Luffy's outstanding performance. Immediately attracted the attention of Marine. They were surrounded by a group of people and it was a fight. The other pirates also attacked in groups. Of course, the Marine vice admirals are not dry. The fierce battle between the two sides intensified. Has entered the white-hot stage. A pair of Marines attacked Whitebeard directly. The posture of the strong does not allow all the younger generation to commit the slashing zero. Luffy has been charging all the time, fighting all the way. Ace on the execution platform watched Luffy and his friends fight all the way. In danger, constantly blaming oneself. Why did you come to save me? It's all my fault, don't die for me again. A deep sense of self-blame, guilt filled Ace's heart. Why do you want to save people like me? The pain in his heart made Ace not feel like he was hanging his head on the ground. Thinking about how desperately Daddy Luffy and Whitebeard were. Ace straightened his waist again. And catch all the culprits that reach out to him. No longer panic. For Father Whitebeard, and for everyone, I'm really sorry for everyone. Ace has realized something in his heart at this time. Luffy is caught in Marine siege. Flashing left and right. The full utilization of rubber fruit is still the focus of the entire battlefield. Buggy's side is also under the contrast of the atmosphere and feels that he is about to become the Pirate King. In fact, he was so panicked that he didn't know what to do. Suddenly stopped by a voice. Buggy also wants to spray it back directly. Looking up, Whitebeard is calling him 1.3. On the spot, the A*** urinated with fright. Whitebeard naturally remembers the red-nosed kid who once stayed on the Roger ship. Not only do I miss the little devil at that time. They've grown so big now. Seeing that Buggy God tier was actively approached by Whitebeard. Buggy is really big, and Whitebeard still gave Buggy a lot of face. Are you bringing so many people here to take my head? The brothers are a little impatient. Whitebeard didn't refute Buggy's face either. Buggy has not answered yet. In fact, my heart is miserable. I can only bite the bullet. No way, 13 has already been installed. That's right, I'm here to take your head. After all, there are so many people following him. On the surface it looks very arrogant. Chapter 417 The Empress loves Luffy, that's true love. Buggy proposed to join forces to deal with Marine first. As for the first level, don't worry. See no. Even Whitebeard recognized the strength of Buggy. Who dares to say that Buggy's strength is not good? He's already on par with Whitebeard. The third brother is awake in the world. Are these guys out of their minds? Whether Buggy is strong or not depends on your imagination. And Buggy itself is swollen and doesn't want to live anymore. As for this Marine, it shouldn't be a problem if I get really serious. At this moment, Buggy feels like suddenly. Isn't this One Piece just within reach? The younger brother below is even more madly worshipping. Naturally, Whitebeard proposed a joint agreement next. It provides a bit of witty humor to the brutal battlefield. Next is the duel with Sengoku in terms of ingenuity. Marine outside the customs has been rout. Now it is even more directly shrinking the defense line. Send warships to support the Crescent Bay. The pirates also want to rush in and make up with Whitebeard. O2 but suddenly received a call from Whitebeard. First, I asked the giant vortex spider Skeward if he was there. But the figure of that guy has long since disappeared. It is estimated that he went to fight the enemy bravely again. Then he instructed the rest of the pirate group not to rush in. Start the attack from the outer warships first. If everyone jumps in. Warships are blocking the port directly. What kind of person does not become the turtle in the urn? Now I have been letting the cooperating pirates attack warships outside. Leave a way out for the pirates. Sengoku's little plan has long been seen through by Whitebeard. But Sengoku can't make another plan. And he knew it was a tactic that Whitebeard could never avoid. The situation on the battlefield became more and more complicated. Luffy's side is surrounded by more and more marines. There was no way to break through marines' defenses. Ivan and Jinbei came to the rescue in time, facing the overwhelming marine. The three used their own means, although the marines were temporarily defeated and fled. But soon continued to surround. Moria came out again to brush her presence. Jinbei blocked it, letting Luffy go first. The confrontation between the two seven warlords of the sea caused a group of marines to stop here. But unexpectedly, Moria first aimed at their shadows. Yet to fight, first cut your own shadow. Moria is good at fighting in this one-handed nest. Moria's figure with the blessing of Marine's shadow is a little bigger. It's just that this guy's brain is obviously not enough. First, take out your own big scissors and gesture back and forth. It's just that the Jinbei karate gluer slapped the face and turned discolored when he couldn't get the rest of the fight. Add a small inch punch. Chill Moria directly. All the shadows in the body were shot out. Real hammer Moria's best dish Shichibukai doesn't feel as good as a finger from a buggy god tier. Luffy continued to rampage in Marine's pinch. Caught the attention of the smoker. Without a word, he went out to Luffy. With the weapon in hand, the hand is drawn directly towards Luffy's large face. Ivan wanted to save, but the violent coon bears here are equally difficult to deal with. In the face of the tyrannical smoker, Luffy also directly opened 24 rubber machine guns and went straight away. But a smoker is a smoker. This blow had no effect on him at all. On the contrary, he soared into the sky. Luffy followed. Use the airtime of the instrument to continue to attack the smoker. And the smoker is very flexible in the air. Then it turned into smoke and went straight towards Luffy. The smoker took this opportunity to hold a weapon. Hands squeezed hard against Luffy's throat. Pressed directly from the sky to the ground. Luffy can't move with his throat restrained. This smoker can't be beat by anyone except Luffy. Just as the smoker took down Luffy with one blow. But he was directly hit by a pair of long legs. It is the Pirate Queen. Seeing Luffy hurt by this, the Empress seemed to lose her mind completely. To smash smokers to ashes. When Luffy called his name, the spring breeze was bright. HMPH, woman. Then the Empress took out a key and gave it to Luffy. It is the key to Ace's handcuffs. Luffy was naturally overjoyed when he saw it, and snatched it away. If I flew and hugged the woman to express my thanks. It's just that the Empress at this time is completely unable to control herself. And Luffy still has work to do. Immediately ran away. Only the blushing and heart-pounding Empress was already thinking about what to call Luffy's child. In the eyes of the surrounding marine, this scene completely turned into a loss of the Queen to Luffy. He was hit by Luffy and fell to the ground, Seeing the Empress being tortured so painfully. This Luffy is really too powerful, really wonderful. On the battlefield, Ivan faces the laser beam of the Storm Coon Bear. Just blindly dodging, kept calling the name of the Storm Coon Bear. Ivan couldn't believe that his face could make the bear forget the memory of his eagerness to wake the bear. Was interrupted by a voice. It is next to Doflamingo. Although I don't know what your relationship is. But give up. It was no use talking to him. Because the real Bartholomew Kuma is dead. Ivan naturally couldn't believe it. Isn't the bear who is a meatball fruit person standing there? Brother Ming said again. The bear you know and this guy are no longer alone. Just a few days ago. With the final makeover by government scientist Vegapunk. This guy has become a human weapon. It was Bartholomew Kuma who volunteered to be the government's human weapon test body. This experiment has already started several years ago. First the hands, then the feet. While retaining one's own consciousness. All parts of 240 have undergone long-term and gradual transformation. Just a few days ago, I had my own consciousness. But now it's completely lost. Now he is no different from the dead. Another battle monster that only obeys government orders. Ivan naturally refused to believe it. I have always hated the violence of the world government. Coon bears would volunteer to be their experimental subjects. But in the face of the laser attack of the violent coon bear. It has to be believed. Ivan stepped forward and was furious. Apply multiple shadow clone technique directly. Confuse the vision of the storm coon bear. Facing the big face full of screen and the full screen of hell wink. Even the robo coon bear was hit hard by this. Blasted out. But being a war machine is no big deal. Slowly stood up again. Ivan stepped forward again quickly. Flying kick with both feet, knocking it into the air again. Facing the former friends who have become like this now. Really speechless to the buggy gang. Let the others cover Luffy and leave quickly. At this time, the buggy group is carefully planning something. The third brother looked unlovable. However, the plan has been drawn up. He will stop the bear alone. Ivan is also heartbroken. Immediately lead the crowd to carry out the big battle plan by the famous Captain Buggy. At the same time, I also want to save the violent coon bear. Chapter 418. Luffy's Hawkeye, Storm Coon Bear debuts. From now on, the Buggy name will be heard all over the world. And Laosha is still entangled with Whitebeard. It's just that there are too many soldiers underneath. Helpless only to open the big move to clear the soldiers first. Just when Lao Sha was negligent, Diamond Yoja rammed straight in. Lao Sha was hit by this. Spit out blood and fly out. Right in front of Brother Ming. Yosh still wants to continue to attack. But was stopped by a palm. It turned out that Brother Ming had already controlled Zhou's. Immediately, he made an invitation to Lao Sha to join forces. And Luffy, under the cover of everyone, slowly approaching the execution platform. Yet another person appeared. This person is the strongest swordsman in the world, Hawkeye, who holds a black knife. Standing in front, holding the black knife Yi Shanks. I'm sorry. Hawkeye is standing in front with a black knife in hand. Looked like Luffy who came out by himself. Whisper softly. Shanks, I'm sorry. Luffy also knows the power of Hawkeye. Now is not the time to fight Hawkeye at all. But the pace of progress did not stop. Instead, open the second gear directly. When the knowledge is about to approach the eagle eye, the knowledge jumps away. Go around. But how could Hawkeye, who has made up his mind to clean up Luffy, give up so easily? Eagle-eyed looking around, locked the running Luffy in the scrambled crowd. Swinging a knife, a ping a fighter burst out of the air. Go straight to Luffy. The sharp sword slash attack is to break Luffy into two surnames. Luffy dodged just in time. Fatal injuries were also broken into the city walls. After solving Moria's affection, he came up again. To stand in the way of the old days to help Luffy. Hawkeye was also surprised. Why face Jinbei who already has a position? Hawkeye finally persuaded. But Jinbei is about to shoot. Immediately after countless shells swarmed. But it was nailed to Jinbei's instant drive. Hawkeye swings a knife. The shells all over the body turned into two pieces and exploded. Jinbei took advantage of the smoke of the explosion and slapped a heavy fist anxiously like a Hawkeye joke. Hawkeye is also unambiguous, eating a black knife and stabbing him. Jinbei had already expected it in his heart. Avoid the black edge and stick to fitness and hit the eagle eye. But it ignores the power of the black knife. Was directly thrown out by this blow. Break the ice and fall into the water. This eagle eye is really strong. At this time, Hawkeye was not idle either. But jumped directly into the air. The location of Luffy is determined. Hold the black knife and directly stimulate it. Go straight to Luffy. Fortunately, Luffy reacted quickly and avoided this sure shot blow. This Luffy was also beaten by Hawkeye. To fight back with rubber rocket launchers. But in the face of Hawkeye's slash, Luffy's heart suddenly flashed. If this blow passes, fear of being cut off directly. At this moment observation Haki awakens. He quickly retracted his hands and hit the ground. It's a risk this time. But Hawkeye didn't give the Toll a chance to react at all. It's a head-on blow to death. The power is so strong that it stuns the entire battlefield. Lines of black knives cut through the sky. And the frozen waves were cut in two. There is really a mountain section and just for the eagle eye. The first flat A is really exaggerated. Is this the strength of the strongest swordsman in the world? At the same time, facing Ming Jie, Lao Sha proposed to join forces. Really not interested. I also don't want to hear more. He forced Lai Lai to send his brother Ming to heaven with a big move to kill his partner. It also implicated Buggy, who was carrying out the big battle of the famous Baja plan. Was swept up into the sky by this sandstorm. Luffy could barely dodge under Hawkeye's slash. And this slashing sword swung by Hawkeye at will is enough to make Luffy overwhelmed. Luffy can't help it when he sees this. Or get up and go straight to the eagle's eye. You can't just dodge by getting closer. Hawkeye looked at Luffy who was running towards him and didn't hesitate. At this time, Luffy just looked up and saw that the Buggy God tier that was rolled up to the sky was a pull. Just happened to use Buggy's fruit ability to dodge this blow. Really freak out God tier. Then just throw the garbage directly to Hawkeye. It was a gorgeous knife cut noodles. After some operation. Buggy God tier has become noodles. Thanks to Buggy's fruit ability, there is no hindrance. It looks like this Hawkeye is going to be handed over to garbage disposal. Then came the 8 machine gun fire. But little tricks can't help Hawkeye. Was blown away. Luffy took advantage of the smoke of the explosion to yo-yo. Hawkeye naturally didn't want to let Luffy go so easily. Brother Xiao Ma quickly asked the captain of the 5th team to lay down Hawkeye. Team 5 Captain Foil Beasta responded to Hawkeye's slash to give Luffy a chance to leave. This is the long-awaited sword fight by Beasta. Then the two pushed the call to get up. This Beasta can actually have a few tricks with Hawkeye. Seems like a very powerful generation. But Hawkeye has been focusing on Luffy who has left. I can't help but sigh in my heart. Luffy, he can turn a succession of people on the battlefield into his own companions. Inadvertently he already has the most terrifying power. Shanks' vision is also really good. Look at the blown up, the rainbow farts of the little brothers are still going on. But Buggy actually found the footage that Marine used to live stream, by accident. From then on Buggy's legendary road began. Others are busy fighting. God tier is thinking about starting a live broadcast. It's almost time for Ace's execution. Both parties have their own means. The big move is frequent, and I want to lock the battle situation. For a while, the battlefield has intensified. And at this time, Marine begins the early execution of Ace. At the same time, Sengoku ordered to go down and cut off the signal of the video phone bug. This battle must be won. As for the process, people don't need to know so clearly. They don't need to know about the tragedy that will happen next. The people just need to know that we won, and that's it. The voice just fell. Suddenly, there was a sound of explosion from behind. Then, one after another, Lei Xiao light flashed out. Its powerful power directly sank many pirate ships. Walk in slowly with those figures. It's actually a war machine of multiple violent coon bears, really. Seeing that the number of these war machines has reached a terrifying number. As long as such a powerful combat force is thrown into the battlefield, it will definitely overturn the entire battlefield situation. When that platoon of pacifists of the Riot Coon Bear appeared on this battlefield, it really startled everyone. You must know that the fighting power of pacifists is able to fight against Supernova without falling behind. This time there are so many. It's bound to affect the entire battle. The leader of this group of pacifists fought Taumaru to quit. Didn't you say that the pirates were already inside and outside when we were smoking? Why are they so scattered now? Only then did everyone understand Whitebeard's foresight. If Sengoku deliberately leaks the news that Ace will be executed early, let the pirates get impatient first. Then Marine feigned defeat and retreated. Introduce all pirates into the bay. Release the pacifists. Then they are the turtles in the urn. Let the pacifists attack. Chapter 419 Skeward attacked Whitebeard. Whitebeard was hit hard. Fortunately, Whitebeard didn't let them in. Leave room for pirates. At this time, Sengoku couldn't hang his face. Even if you don't come in, that can also attack. Just start killing the surrounding enemies first. Pacifists launched. To make. In the hands of the pacifists of the platoon, the laser beams kept condensing in their mouths. Scatter shot. Sweep the entire battlefield directly. And the speed is extremely fast. Once on a warship, regardless of the enemy or me, it will be destroyed directly. It really is a killing machine without the slightest emotion. Although the pirates are not afraid of death, but the pacifists have a lot of merit and blood. Ordinary people can't help them at all. For a time, the entire outer ring became a purgatory on Earth. When Whitebeard saw this, it was over. There is no other way. Only rushed in one breath. Sengoku also issued an order immediately. Back on the front line. Never let the pirates attack the square. Hawkeye and Foil Beasta's battle continues. Even for a while, no one can help anyone. Let's compare it with a big move. Saying that, Beasta leapt into the air. Rose wheel dance. Thousands of petals flutter in the wind and hit the eagle eye. It looks beautiful, but in fact it hides murderous intentions. Hawkeye still responded with a slash. Swept everything in one blow. But this fighter was also blocked by Beasta. Standing in the air. The two were at a stalemate again. 257. Take another look at Luffy, who was running. Stopped again by Admiral Kizaru. He was kicked into Jinbei's arms again. Running all the way. There are masters blocking the way. This Ace's road is indeed very difficult and unusual. Fortunately, there are many companions to help. The captains of the Whitebeard pirates blocked this Admiral restoration for Luffy. Looking at the results at this time. Not only a little puzzled. Why hasn't this video phone bug been turned off? 3 image bugs have turned off too. The other one has been passed by Buggy God tier. Look at the camera, the lighting board, and the special makeup artist to take care of the Buggy God tier. After some tossing, the live broadcast has finally started. Yo, here is aka Marin's many sniping God tier Buggy for your favorite family members to live broadcast 1 click and 3 waves. Everyone's plane and rocket brush a wave of deductions, 666. When the results of the battle are discovered, his hands and feet were shaking with anger. Get that phone bug back from me right away. Kill all those people. At the same time, the giant vortex spider Skeward came to Whitebeard's side. At this time, the fronts of the inner and outer bends are already tight. The vortex spider Skeward suddenly appeared on Whitebeard's ship. Whitebeard didn't think much about it either. A brief understanding of the battle situation outside the bay and Sengoku's tactical deployment. Just ready to go out in person. But Skeward is getting closer and closer to Whitebeard. On the one hand, I am very grateful to Whitebeard for taking care of the 46 pirates. For the sake of the Whitebeard pirates, I did not hesitate to go through fire and water. On the one hand, slowly draw out the long knife, continuing to tell that this is a battle to protect the family. Whitebeard will never abandon his family. It is precisely because of Whitebeard's charisma. Everyone is willing to follow him to this battlefield. Whitebeard felt free at this time. Step forward slowly. How do you know the big vortex spider Skeward's face changed? If we count as family. Next second, the big vortex spider Skeward's long knife has penetrated Whitebeard's chest. Everyone was shocked. Whitebeard, who values his family the most, was pierced by his own son. Really ironic, although the hand was trembling. But he still pulled the sword out. Marco bore the brunt. Fly up and hold down Skeward. Ask him why he did this. And Skeward is even more righteous. Haven't you already made it through with Marine, Whitebeard? In exchange for the lives of the Whitebeard pirates and Ace, the captains of our 43 ships. At the same time, that guy Ace is the son of Roger, the pirate king. Why don't you tell me? Did you know my mates were killed by Roger? You should know how much I hate Roger. Still hiding from me Ace's life experience. Also made me and ACBD, my enemy's son, a friend. I want him to be the next One Piece. And we all became your pawns. Exchange our heads for the lives of you and Ace. This should have been planned by you and Sengoku long ago. 35. And all this is what Akainu can't bear to see you acting like this and told me truthfully. Take another look at the wanton slaughter of pacifists outside the bay. At the same time, the sea outside the bay has been frozen into solid ice. Now the pirates have really reached the point where there is no turning back. After hearing what he said, the other captains who were still fighting were also surprised. What's going on? Is what Squard said true? Whitebeard looked at Squard, who was ready to die. Muttered to himself, it's true that Ace is Roger's son. They incite the men who are most easily shaken by it. Our Sengoku's strategy is better. Meanwhile, watching Whitebeard get stabbed. The most angry at this moment is Lao Sha. This old Sand and Whitebeard also have a story. But among them, Marco looked deeper. This attack on Dad could have been avoided originally. No matter how unexpected the attack, even if it is an attack from his own cronies, he will definitely not be attacked. It seems that my father's physical condition is already very poor. Whitebeard stiffened again and looked at Squard, the silly son. Whitebeard hugged and assassinated his son Squard. Even if you're a silly son, I still love you. Whitebeard's heart, like the ocean, has forgiven him now. Whitebeard is fully convinced of Squard's faithfulness. Knowing that he must have been tempted to assassinate. And Squard was also shocked by this storm. I know how much you hate Roger. But the father's debt is repaid. What a ridiculous idea. Has Ace ever worked against you? You share weal and woe together, no matter what the difficulty. Don't they fight side by side again and again? Does Ace's child really matter? On this vast sea, we met. Not just the two of you, but all of them are my children. And it's not just Ace that's special, you're all my family. Quote. This remark, the ashamed Squard was full of tears and was ashamed. This is Whitebeard, the real man of uprightness and stubbornness. The world's strongest, well deserved. Then he stepped forward. Then the fist shattered the void again. The frozen waves and ice walls shattered one after another. Open a path for children. As pirates, it's up to you to decide what to believe. Seeing Squard here is ashamed. He really fell for Akainu. Assassinated the person whom he most respected. Chapter 420. Whitebeard personally shot. Little Oz once again protects Ace. The other pirate leaders know the truth. Reinvigorated and continued to charge. And Whitebeard himself stepped forward, leaping off the Moby DK. The strongest man in the world is going to fight. For a time the situation changed. The fourth is this battlefield, all shaking the same. Whitebeard held the Kong Cloud cut, and the blade pointed directly at the execution platform. Squard on the stormtrooper sinks into a deep sense of guilt. It was his own stupidity that hurt Papa Whitebeard so much. This overwhelmed sense of guilt made him completely lose the ability to think. Just kneel down and cry. Then Marco stepped forward. Crying solves nothing. 35. Have to say, Sengoku's tactic of alienation really caused a lot of damage to Whitebeard. And now Marine's defenses are still shrinking. All have been transferred to the square without knowing it. A new conspiracy has been quietly brewing. At this moment, Vice Admiral, the Marine giant, slashed left and right with a large knife. Sparks and lightning rushed to Whitebeard all the way. To slash to Whitebeard. Whitebeard blocked it with one hand with a cloud cut, and it was a slap. Then the palms turned into claws, as if to tear the void apart. For a time, the sky and the earth cracked, the earth shook and the mountains shook. The whole ground seemed to be lifted over, with the sea torn apart. The sea is divided into sections. After a wave of earth-shattering power, the whole of Marineford has been reduced to ruins. Where the giant Vice Admiral stood firm and wanted to continue his cultivation. Whitebeard didn't hesitate and flew forward. According to the void among the giants is a punch. The power of this punch is great. Its shockwave shatters walls directly through Vice Admiral. Sweep all the buildings in contact and go to the execution platform. After the smoke from the explosion passed, there was no damage to the execution platform. It turned out that the three Admiral came out together. Guarded under this execution platform. Blocked this devastating blow from Whitebeard. 3 Admiral blocked Whitebeard's shot in surrender. The battlefield does not give anyone a chance to react. The pirates continued to charge. Luffy is even more anxious at the moment. Finally got to the right place. Just stretch your arms and grab the wall on the square. Just as Luffy was about to leap up. The wall is another layer of surrounding walls rising up. It is taller and more rigid than the previous city walls. At the same time, a cannon stretched out from the fortress. This is to surround the Whitebeard pirates and destroy them as a whole. But look closely. This little Oz's huge body just blocked the rise of 2 of the surrounding walls. There is still a chance for the pirates. This little Oz is a big arm even lying there. Sengoku saw this. There is no other way. Close the door and let the dog go. Akainu stepped forward. Hot lava poured out of both arms. The whole person is like a volcano that erupts at any time. Immediately afterwards, the fists continuously released magma attacks to the sky. After a period of fermentation, one by one, the big magma fists broke through the air. With Anne as the center. The explosion damage caused by the righteous magma shells falling from the sky is unparalleled. For a time, the pirates suffered heavy casualties. And the intense high temperature caused by the magma also melted the ice on the ground. If it continues, I am afraid that the pirates will lose their foothold on this sea. At the same time, the heavy artillery on the barrier also launched an attack at the same time. There is also a pacifist handle at the gate. For a time, the entire pirate group fell into a rather passive situation. When Whitebeard saw this, he volleyed. The powerful shock wave hit the lightning protection. It forms a powerful shock wave. Along with the marine on the square, it was blown away. But only left a dent in the barrier. Whitebeard can't break a surrounding wall with a single blow. It seems that this is also made by a special fox. Akainu continues to launch Meteor Volcano. Together with the Moby DK of the Whitebeard pirates were set ablaze. Whitebeard is still so hockey awe-inspiring in front of the burning ship. But there is a hint of sadness that the end is coming. The Moby DK was finally ignited by the continuous attack of the volcano. This giant ship that carried the Whitebeard pirates for a lifetime finally ended his journey of sailing. Papa Whitebeard looked back at his old buddy. This invincible companion on the sea. Today finally reached his end. At this time, the pirates in the bay have fallen into a dilemma. Can only be kept under attack. The upgraded surrounding wall can be said to be the hell cage of the Whitebeard pirates. On the square, Ace was about to be executed. Now the only path left for the pirates is the path that Oz opened with his own body. But if you think about it, you must know that there are heavy troops guarding there. Luffy took the lead. Zero. Ask for flowers. Now is not the time to hesitate. Other pirates were inspired by it. It also followed closely behind, forging ahead together towards the last dawn. Led by Luffy, the crowd charged towards the intersection that Oz had opened before he fell down. Marines naturally won't sit still, and because the intersections are concentrated, makes Marines' attacks cause more pirate casualties. Ace on the execution platform saw that people were falling down because of saving him. The heart seemed even more anxious. Such an intensive attack. Luffy will not be spared, of course. One step closer because of the shelling. 10 steps back, he was shot out first and fell into the sea. On the battlefield, pirates are all over the place. The ice is slowly melting. The whole situation has reached a precarious point for the pirates. At this time, the kid who thought he was dead actually came back to life trembling. The first reaction to stand up is to protect Ace. Little Oz was really willing to give everything to save Ace. But what was ushered in was the gunfire and shelling of countless Marines. Seeing the little Oz who was still holding on to the heavy blow, Admiral Kizaru took the trouble to shoot the morning light through little Oz's head. Just at this juncture, when the thunder is too late to hide the ears and the bells ding, Jinbei is a sea current falling over his shoulder. Is to throw the waves directly over the surrounding wall. The waves in the sky are dotted with stars on the square. Everyone was shocked by the scene in front of them. That hides the huge waves down vertically. Exploded in front of everyone. Bringing the waves in is Luffy holding a huge mast. It's really lonely. Luffy breaks through the sky. One is the courage to choose 3. And the third General Marine is also generous in praise from the stream. Praise Luffy. It's just that this battlefield is too early for the current Luffy. But facing Marine 3 Admiral, Luffy didn't panic at all. In the face of the overwhelming emotion that came, glances over them, and the 3 Admiral did not dodge or evade the attacking Luffy and crushed ice. It's just that the cloak behind the 3 Great Genes looks so confident. Luffy immediately deployed the rubber seal machine gun. Freeze it directly and smash it back. Staring straight at Ace on the execution stand. Chop up the giants little by little and attack the 3 Admirals. Luffy is going to fight 3 Marine Admiral by himself.